What's going on, ladies and gents? All the usual suspects are out there, I can see. Good to be back here. Let me see what I got for audio here. Let's go ahead and pump that up a hair bit. Let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, let's see what happens here. Still seems like a little low, but we'll check out that out a little bit. Let's see. Put that there. Let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. This thing's way down in the other setting, I can tell. But we'll leave it that right there. What do you think? All right. Seems like we got audio. Let's see if that jumps up a little bit. I did turn it up a hair. Oh, yeah. All right. Move this around here. All right. What's going on, everyone? All right. Let me move this over here. See what that does there. There we go. What's going on, everyone? Let's see. Like I said, all the usual suspects are in there, I can tell. Oh, yeah. Arts and Crafts is in there. Hello, Arts and Crafts. Phil C. Limey Watcher's in there. Michael Ferdinand is in there. Hedda McFarlane. That's what kind of messed me up a little bit. Mars the Second Genesis. What's going on? You said, hi, Chris. I see you are feeling better. Have you seen my last few videos? No, I sure haven't, to be honest with you. I've been getting together, like I said, with Julia there, and we've been putting together some of these, videos, Antarctica videos. And through the weekend, I'm going to try. I got some things I got to do, but I'm going to try to take the Antarctica photos that I have here on this Mars Anomalies and Beyond and kind of transfer them over to the new channel, Antarctica, stuff like that. So, provided I get the time. But we're going to try to do that. Even if I leave some of them on, I can always copy them and put them on the new channel. This way it'll be nothing but Antarctica. So, that's what we're going to try to do. Let's see. Mimi Reacts, what's going on? You guys will tell I still got a little bit of a scratchy throat. I think it's seasonal changes, though. I've been eating these things like Tic Tacs, these little halls. Because I don't know if it's a seasonal thing. I'm sure a lot of people get it. In fact, I know some friends and actually some family that's got that. It's where the change of whether you get this pollen in the air, you get this itch, and get this draining in the back of your throat. It's BS is what it is. So, yeah. Let's see. I think it's Enrico. Is that what it is? Is he on? I got my Folger coffee, and I'm all ready for this. Well, good to have you in there, man. Let's see. Pete, what's going on? Buffalo, New York here, waiting with bells on. Bing, bing. Josh D's in there. What's going on, Josh? Josh D's in the hizoo. Daniel Lee, what's going on, Danny? So, hi there, Chris. Hope you're well and looking forward to a great evening of Mars. Danny, Liverpool, UK. Good to have you in there, Danny. Martin Lucas, welcome back, guys. It's great to be back. Yeah, I thought about that. I'm saying, when we have these hangouts, it's not just me just yapping away. It's everybody else having a, conversation, because it's like we've become family over a course of time. And it's like everybody just wants to be able to get back in there and chat it up and talk about different subjects and all that other good stuff. So it's cool, So it's good to be back to be able to do that, which is just awesome. So, like I said, I think last weekend I was actually pretty much said I was going to do one. But guess what? I wake up Saturday morning, internet's completely trashed. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? So what I was going to do was do one on the weekend because I hadn't done it on Friday. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it on maybe Saturday, surprise them, just jump on there and mess around. Nope. Wasn't until Sunday afternoon, like 3, 4 o'clock, they got everything working again. I'm like, what is going on? What I found out was that they're doing all kinds of upgrades, and they might even be doing fiber optic here, which is, it's so stone age. My buddy's had fiber optic for like freaking 20 years. But I know they're upgrading big time around here, and and then all of a sudden, my modem didn't want to talk to the internet. So I was like, oh, great. So nothing wrong with the modem. It's just because of what they've done and whatever. So he says, it doesn't seem to be getting a signal in here, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, it's got to be an amplifier on the pole, man. And, of course, he wasn't a big fan of the, the modem that I'm using, which is nothing wrong with it. I've had them, 2 or 3 of them, never had an issue. So, and as a rule, I don't have any problem with Comcast either. So my speeds are faster as well as my upload, so I can't complain. But at some point, I'm probably in the near future, I'm going to upgrade it anyway, just to be, on the safe side and just be up with the technology, if you will, which is no big deal. Just buy one and call it in, right? Mimi X says, how are you? I'm doing fine, Mimi. I hope you're well. Samantha Morris says, hello, everyone. Hello, Samantha. Good to see you in there. Renee, what's happening? Renee, oh, hello. Let's see. 333 says, Mars. Oh, yeah. John McDonald. So, well, we are all ready to go. Great to have Chris back and with us, and let's all enjoy. Yeah, like I said, it's like a great big family, so I know, when I turn this thing on, I try to do like 10, 15 minutes before I get on. This way here, everybody can still chat it up, right? So, that's why I like doing that too. Mags K, what's happening? Good to see you in there. What's going on in the ozone? Good to see you in there. Claire Mead's in there. What's going on, Claire? Good to see you in there. Yeah, Mars the Second Genesis. I don't know why this said hide this, but all you said was all the Mars missions are silent for the next few weeks as there's a solar conjunction of some shite like that. But they probably flagged it for that, which is retarded. But yeah, they were saying that. It's on the other side of the sun while we're on the opposite side. So you'll get that. But funny enough, when they're using the K-band, I think it's a K-band, it can still ping and they can still hear it. So figure that out. So when it pings, it's just telling basically everybody the DSN, Deep Space Network, I'm fine, I'm good, hear me ping, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you can get a signal that way, why can't you have a signal through there? So something tells me, I don't know if they're completely blocked out, or they're just doing it for, maybe they're not going to be blocked out that long, but they're saying, 2 weeks. But it's the week they might actually come back out and they're ready to go, and they're just using that extra week for their gain, if you will, right? Got a craving for pizza. Yeah, I just had one of those, what is it, roasted turkey sandwiches there from Subway. Pretty good. Haven't had that in a while. Let's see. Not sure what that's. No ports clock, you said. And 100 for me, please. Not sure what that means. Eric Bauer, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. You said, hooray, I made it. Yes, you did. Stig, good to see you there, man. You said, hi, everyone. Hope you're all well and doing okay. I am, Stig. I hope you're doing well as well. 333, ground control to Major Tom. Phil C says, spicy V8 with vodka is friggin' good. Yeah, it is. It is. MG Toe, he said, I'm so happy and excited to be here. Yeah, like I said, it's been a while, right? I'm like, and like I said, I kept having this. Listen, if you guys would have heard me last week too, because like I said, it started getting better. I said, I'd like to just pop one of these on just for craps and giggles, right? I sounded like Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. Yeah, his voice is real deep. You know, like sometimes when you get up in the morning, you're like, really, really deep voice, and of course it dissipates. I felt like that all day long. I could have easily said that, you know. I mean, it's funny as hell, but it is what it is, right? And of course, you're at the mercy of it because how do you make videos? Your voice is not even right. It's crackly. It's a mess. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, it wasn't too fun. Josh D says, wow, I missed you all, to be honest. I hear you, brother. I hear you. MG Toast says, big thumbs up, everyone. Whack it. Boom. Hit it hard. Noodles, what's going on? He said, on deck. What's going on? Good to see you there, man. Stelgaron, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if it's kind of a short name, but if I did pronounce it. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, I should say. Greetings to all. Well, it's good to see you, Nestel. Let me watch it. He said, I remember the TV show Stig of the Dump. I don't remember that. It must have been long ago. No pause clock says, Seek and Destroy was the moto, I guess like motivation for Mars and its current surface. Well, I just read I don't know if I still have that page link, but they were talking about how a lot of these craters had a lot of the water in them, and then the catastrophe, I guess, shifted everything, and all this water kind of washed, and it was like basically tidal waves coming out of the big waves coming out of there, and that's what they're seeing is it's like indicative to like a flood, and it's like, well, no kidding, we've been saying this for how long? I mean, you can see everything looks like it's been washed away and just like, just basically hammered. So, yeah. Ricardo Petrozzi, what's happening? You say, evening all, great to be back. Get set for tonight's mission to Mars. I hear that. Pete, he said, I really tired of watching volcanoes. Yeah, that can get kind of boring, couldn't it? I mean, sheer power of them is interesting, but, I don't think I'd live on an island with one. Gary Miller, what's happening? He said, hi, Chris. Glad you're back. And everyone else. Hey, Gary. Good to see you, man. Good to be back. Like I said, I don't know how long my voice will work, but because it starts getting dried out, it starts getting crackly, and I'm like, ugh. But it is what it is. We'll just play it by ear, right? Arthur Krause says, I hope you're feeling better, Chris. I am, Arthur Krause. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Josh D said, sound good. Hello. Hope you are fine, Chris. I am, Josh D. Good to see you're doing well. William Johnson's in there. Hey, Chris. Good to see you. Thank you, William. It's good to be back. Mega Chelsea 25. Hi, Chris. Hope you're feeling much better. I am. Still got the little issues, though. I don't know if it's, like I said, it's a change of season or what it is. But, since I've gotten out of the hospital, I've been proactive big time. I'm now doing, like, every morning I just get out and do, like, 3 miles, like a brisk walk, almost breaking into a jog. And then, eating a little bit better, doing things. So I'm saying about 95%, but you know how that goes. It's like you just want to make sure you're 100%, but not overdo it. So I haven't really been doing that. And then I started doing little short jogs to kind of test the waters, like I said, without overdoing it. So I was able to do that a little bit and it was fine. So, yeah. Not much you can do about it other than, well, like I said, you just got to be careful and know yourself, This thing just jumped at me. I hate it when this thing does this. Kevin T, you could have been a contender. Great for all. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Indeed it does. Indeed. 46 out of 100. Pop that like button. Yeah, guys, hit it. Hit it good. This helps YouTube share this, so you want to get this info out? Let's get it done. Noodles, he said, good to see you too, Chris. I got to go do a chore. Sunshine, 10 minutes. Be right back. Do what you got to do, brother. P. Ferrari said, Julia told me no one on Antarctica, trust the Chinese. I'm thinking they're trying to find connections between Moon and Antarctica. I think you might be right. I mean, here's the thing. if they're gathering information from the moon, Mars, and I'm talking about the people who are privy to everything. In other words, they're getting the real photos from the moon, Mars, and this has been going on for years. This isn't just recent, right? And they're seeing what they're seeing in Antarctica. I mean, like you said, they're probably looking for similarities. It doesn't look, at least from the pictures, and it's kind of hard to say for certain, but it doesn't look like everything's completely demolished or even in that bad a shape in Antarctica. Did you guys notice the same thing, or is it just me? I mean, I see a lot of structures that are still erect there. They're still really, and they look like they're standing well, and doesn't look like a whole lot, but you're trying to cut through the manipulation as well. First time I seen that when Sarah was showing me these pictures, she said, you got to see this. And I looked at it, and I'm like, okay. And that's when I did a video, and I'm trying to remember what exactly area that was, but what was funny about it is they had, like, this mountain. It looked like a butte, right? The whole side of the thing, you can see where they literally put a blur before they got to the very top. And then, of course, they just played havoc with the photo. And at the time, I don't think she knew that they were messing with these photos. She said, I'm getting these photos from these guys that were on this expedition. And, of course, they work for NASA, too. I went, oh, God, that's not a good thing. So, and then the more I got into it, and now, she already seen this. She started seeing, look, you can see the structures hidden under here, this, that, and the other. So she was wise to it. But I don't think she knew the extension or the amount of censoring that was really done in these photos. So I told her, I said, look, you can actually see the line of blurring and manipulation. She was like, oh my God. So yeah, and like I said, but she had a keen eye for this stuff, which is really good. You don't see that often. That's why she's greatly missed, because you just don't, and it's sad. But like I said, in my last video. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I got a breath in my body, her work will live on. This is the reason why I want to dedicate that channel strictly to Antarctica. And of course, you can see where I put in the photo when I had done it. Credit goes to both, Sarah, Julia, as well, of course, NASA. So it's only fair to credit people where it's due, right? So, yeah. H-1AV says, woohoo! Just checked in to see if you're on today. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Ricardo Petrozzi said the Antarctica image breakdown was quite something. Julia Galli and Sarah Lafreniere did some amazing research. She did. And, of course, they're both working together. So they did a really good job. And, like I said, Julie was very instrumental at the end of Sarah's life, where she said, I'm just going to run with it. And I said, yeah. And I already made the promise to Sarah that, like I said, as long as, I'm alive, I'm going to go ahead and carry her work on. So now, basically Julia has taken the torch. And, of course, if there's any extra information, there you go, right? So I don't know if you guys got the link in the last video. Well, not the one, because I just said it was, live Hangout. But the one prior, which had Antarctica in it, there's a link down there for the actual site, Antarctica site. So check it out. There's a lot of information on there. Did a really good job between the two of them to bring this to light. And, like I said, it's not over as far as, like, I'm going to tear apart some more of these photos. And, there's not going to be one like every, there's not going to be like 2 every week or anything on that, because there's not a lot of photos of Antarctica compared to Mars, Moon, so on and so forth. You guys get what I'm saying. So, but regardless of the fact, I'm going to make sure all the other videos are on there. If I just have to copy and leave the other ones there, that's fine, on Mars Anomalies. So either way, it'll be just strictly Antarctica. So 333 says, isn't the Mars helicopter a pile of crap? No, it's not. But I don't believe what they're saying is true. In other words, according to NASA, it's basically to assist the rover. That's okay. I can go with that. One thing I don't believe, though, it's like, the reason why I don't believe that is that Curiosity doesn't have a problem, doesn't need to navigate. It's got its own, it can drive autonomously, so it doesn't need anything. It's kind of like those little toys. Remember the little toys? Of course, they were really cheesy and not high-tech. But it would run and hit the wall, and of course, I had them spinning wheels at the very bottom, and just boop, boop, and then it would take off. Again, kind of a cheesy analogy, but the point is, this thing could probably roll to an edge of a cliff. Okay, stop, reverse, turn around, and everything else. It doesn't need anything to help it assist it in anything. Come on. The only thing I think that thing's being used for is to look up and over areas that have this technology, where the rover cannot go, and they don't want it to run over the stuff. They want to be able to take high-definition photos, just hover right there, click, 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 take photos of the same area with the rover, make a 3D model perhaps. I don't know. But either way you look at it, that thing's up there for a certain reason. It ain't up for that. Come on now. You know? Max K said, yeah, my brother's nickname always came in dirty and smelled of fire. Andrew Cole, what's happening? What do you make of the underground noises being reported across the states? You know, a lot of people have been talking about that where they don't know if it's tunneling, because if you know, excuse me, if you look at Elon Musk, what he's got his boring company, they're constantly making like different tunnels, and it may not be the only person doing this. So you know, there, you guys know that there is like, they have DUMBs, deep underground military bases, and so on and so forth. But understand that these things run miles upon miles. It's said that you can go from California to the northeast corner and all over underground. Now think of that. If there was a great catastrophe, this country would still continue to work. Let's say it was getting bombarded by another country, missiles and bombs, and they could still function. Country still functions. There's all kinds of food underground. There's military equipment and everything else. So are they still doing this? Or, and it just makes you wonder, because I've seen videos like that where they're talking about these big explosions. They don't know if they're mining underground, they're tunneling. Who the hell knows, right? But it'd be interesting to find out who's actually doing that. It would be very interesting. Andrew Cole, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, in Sarah's name. Absolutely. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Like I said, I mean, it makes you, I thought about this many a times when I was doing videos, anything to do with Antarctica, or just reading on anything to do with Antarctica. And, it just makes you wonder, it just goes through your head, if only she was still here with us. I would have had her on here. Heck, I'd even have Julia on here if she wanted to do that. And she doesn't even have to show her face if she doesn't, because a lot of people get a little weird about being on here. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've contemplated that when I first started doing these videos. I'm like, do I want to get on there? Hell, what the hell's the big deal? So I did. And it was just awesome, you know what I mean? So, like I said, she goes through my mind all the time. And, like I said in the last video, somebody being cut down that young, 24 years old. Come on. And, it's just sad to see that kind of thing. And the funny thing about it, well, actually, it's not funny, but it's the way I said it. But I remember her telling me when she was, when she was in the hospital, that she said there was 3 other kids. One of the girls that passed before her was 11. Come on, there's no need for that, man. That sucks. Kyle Harvey, thank you very much, sir, for your support. Always appreciated. We have bases on Mars and the moon. Oh, absolutely, I believe we do. Let's say, for argument's sake, we don't have a base on Mars. Okay, the moon is a lot easier to do that because it's so much closer. It's our closest body to our to Earth. Now, but we know what's going on, right? On Mars, we know exactly what they're doing up there. Come on. In fact, wait until you see the photo that I'm going to examine. I've got, like I said, I got another video. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. Just a little surprise of another area here on Earth, which they think may have been ancient Atlantis. So, between that and there's another Martian video, man, you guys got to see this. You're going to go, what is going on? Again, just bring the lines out. It's crazy what you're seeing here. And it's just, what I like about doing these photos and enhancing them is that you don't know what you're going to find. It's almost like a Cracker Jack box. You just like open it up. Oh, wow, I didn't know that was going to be in there. You just don't know. And then sometimes you don't find anything that's worth crap. You just like, whatever, and just mosey on, right? No Pause Clock says, the moon is a starship, base, weapons depot, leftovers of terraforming babysitter humans. Well, I think, just in my opinion, and everybody's got their own here, which is cool, my opinion is that if we go by the writings in ancient times, there was a time before the moon. Okay, at least that's what the ancients say. Earth survived just fine. So let's assume that's a lie and that the moon's always been here. It's always been its Earth's satellite. Okay. Before man became intelligent, or long before man, let's say the Earth was still, just cooling and everything else, which I think would affect the moon. But let's suppose, during Neanderthals and stuff like that, I'll bet you there might have been X amount of alien civilizations lived on that moon. Guarantee it. Because some of the things I've seen on there, it's completely alien. It doesn't look like anything we have up there. And I believe, to be truthful with you, I think there was other alien civilizations up there, and they might have been mining the moon. They might have been up there. And I think somebody just said it might have been, we were like an experiment. Somebody said, this is a girl told me this years ago when I was younger too. She said, I think we're like a giant ant farm. As silly as that sounds, how do we know that, a certain civilization didn't put this group of people on this side of the earth, one on this side, so on and this, on different, just different areas of the earth. Let's just see how they grow, how they advance. It would be interesting, but you can talk a millions of years. I mean, how many years they want to be hanging around for that, right? So either way, I think this stuff's been on the moon for thousands of years. Let me see. Make that hair a bit bigger there. All right. Nice case said I could do with an upgrade. Kyle, you said there's so many planets out there just like Earth. It's 100% impossible that we are alone. I totally agree. I mean, come on. Even if we're not sure and we don't have any proof of that, that's fine too. Because to me, you don't have to be an astrophysicist to figure this out. Knowing that all of these planets out there, you know as well as I do, there's got to be other life. And like I said, I believe it's the most sophisticated ones on the very edge, planets on the very edge of the universe would be the most, technologically advanced, unless, of course, they move from there and, moved around the universe and the galaxies and everything else. Hudson Kraft said, ooh, I hope it's what I think with more info. What did that say? Hold on. God, I hate it when that happens. Let me just jump down to the bottom here. So if anybody's asked any questions, just feel free to ask again. Tony Gibbs, what's going on? He said, latest moon theory leans on more of an interaction with Nibiru. A giant ancient planet has 26,000 orbit that takes it between Mars and Jupiter. If you're talking about Nibiru, it's supposed to be 3,600 years elliptical. So regardless of it, it's hard to tell when we'll see it again because, we just don't know. If it's real. Now, according to ancient writings, it is, right? Metalhead, I was just rolling down here and I seen you and said, oh, crap, gotta go. See you guys. So something must have come up. But anyway. Sean, he said, hi, y'all. My notification bell icon must be not working. The notification is shown if I click on the bell, but I'm sure I used to show the number of notifications on the bell. Yeah, just like I said, guys, anytime you say subscribe, just check that little bell and make sure it says when you tick that box, it says all notifications. Because sometimes, I had this argument with with Google, and I told them, I said, why aren't, my subs being notified? Well, so they did a statistics, and they checked it, and they said, that's because not everyone has it clicked, the little box that says all, tick all, or notification for all. I was like, oh, so that's why I try to remind you guys to make sure that you do that. Because sometimes you might just have one tick and it's not all notifications, so just be sure that it is. and it'll definitely help, Phil C., thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. Did you see SpaceX Inspiration mission return from orbit? Jared Isaacman, commander, was unbalanced and shaky when exiting the Crew Dragon. Have you heard why? The other crew seemed fine. No, honestly, I haven't checked into that, Phil. I really haven't. I know for some reason Elon seems to have a whole different outlook now about life on other planets, though. I did hear about that. That was about, good couple weeks ago? You guys heard that as well? Funny how he's like, I don't believe in UFOs. He just snicker at that kind of thing and blow it off and everything other thing. And then all of a sudden he's like, I do believe there was life on other planets. I'm like, oh, imagine that. So wouldn't they also be able to space travel if they're more advanced? So I wonder what triggered that and what got him thinking, wow, there could be life on other planets. He already knew this. Come on. He already knew this. Maybe that's just his segue. So in case, they do go to Mars and say, oh, hey, look what we found. Because, they'll land on a different part of Mars, and then they'll say, oh, guess what we found? You know what I mean? It's letting NASA off the hook, and JPL and ESA, or ESA, so on and so forth. They'll just say, look what we happened to find. So we'll see. I mean, at the time it's like very slow disclosure, but it's getting there. Paul McCoon, you said, in the size of the universe, Earth is the size of 1/1000th of a pinhead. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you know how many times I thought about the Awoken one? You said it would be cool if Anonymous could get into NASA top secret files and release every picture they had on the moon and Mars. Well, here's the thing. Let's say it's not all. Let's say it's just a handful, and they're legit because you can match them up with a picture that they have from whatever sol. And you can see the real one, and you can see the manipulated one. Then you just kind of overlay. You can say, see, guys, this is the real deal right here. And you can tell that they're manipulating these, right? And that would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. James Cragen, thank you very much, sir, for your support, as always. He said, Chris, it's great to see you in the driver's seat again, my friend. And it's great to see all of the great people tonight also. We are all happy you're back. I'm happy I'm back. And, to be with all you guys. And like I said, I mean, a little bit of shaky road there, but it's all good. At some point, everybody will go through it, right? Whatever it may be. So, there was somebody there was somebody that my wife knows. She said that that the guy's wife is like in the hospital for like I think it was a week. No, I'm sorry, it was a month. And yeah, so I think she's now out of ICU, but man, it's crazy. Just the amount of crap going on. But, yeah, Elaine, I was thinking the same thing. You said, what's he seen? If you're talking about that astronaut that got off that Dragon, well, call it X-Dragon, call it what you want. Yeah, I'd be curious myself. Let's see, Equalizer, what's going on? And this thing just jumped on me just when I was ready to just read yours. There it is. He said, a Buddhist told me that our universe is a molecule and our planet is an atom in a different world. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think people can really, and I really can't wrap my mind around it, to be honest with you. When you look at if you look at just a Hubble, and they get like what do they call it, like the picture of the day, and you look at it, and it's just you see, like, let's say the screen right now we're looking at, and, let's get me out of there, and you're looking at the whole screen, and it's nothing but stars. This is like, they had one about the Hubble, what the Hubble had taken, and they said it was like an inch, like if you could measure an inch by inch, and there was like thousands of galaxies and solar systems, and just crazy, and that was just on a small little square in the sky. That's it. You can imagine the amount of planets, solar system, whatever, stars, crazy. So it's hard to believe that we can be the only one. Oh, we're just so special. We're not. Come on. Now, compared to other planets, it may be more harsh. So yeah, I guess we are special in that aspect. But as far as like, are we? Because maybe the other beings, maybe they breathe in more carbon than oxygen, so where we wouldn't be able to breathe, but their planet is absolutely perfect for them. So, right? We don't know. Mimi Reacts says, drip, drip, drip disclosure. Pretty much what it comes down to. The workout artist of fitness and motivation. Happy to see you. Just getting off work. It's good to see that you're, at least it's Friday and you're getting off work, right? So, but yeah, welcome to the weekend, right? Yeah, I've actually taken a leave of absence from my job because I was like, well, I'm not sure when I'm going to be 100%. So, and they said, well, that's fine. So I had to do the same thing. So I don't even have to go to work tomorrow. How about that? But still, you know, you're kind of like, you know, you kind of still get itchy, like you want to go back to work. Kyle Harvey says, we've already had a disclosure. If you guys have not watched YouTube lately, Channel 7 in the Australian guy, Ross, the show is 1 hour and 18 minutes. I haven't seen that. I have to look that up. Dirk Jensen, he said NASA doesn't know anything. I kind of disagree. You got to understand that these guys have, you know, they're being controlled. They're like being puppeted by the DOD, the Department of Defense. And this is the reason why they have a CGI department. Now, whether it's in NASA itself or in JPL, which more people have said it's more of JPL, and they could very well be right. You know, you don't need a CGI department if you're taking a raw photo. It's like going out and taking pictures of the wilderness. Like, let's say you live out in the country and you're off this high mountain, you're taking all the pictures of mountains. And why would you have the need to do anything to that photo if it's raw and it's a real photo? Well, there's got to be a reason for it. So you know these people that are working in that particular department know exactly what this in these photos, and you can bet NASA knows it too. But they got basically the whole NASA basically has a gag order, right? And same thing with anybody who works on these photos. So I believe they're definitely in the know. I believe Elon is as well. Seeing he's subcontracted through them and the whole 9 yards, I believe he is too. You can almost guarantee it. Oh, okay, Paul. He said it's MC Coon. Okay. It's the way I said it was just together, that's all. Rick Ramos, he said, do you have the most convincing photo of intelligent structures or ruins, moon or Mars? There's a lot of photos that I have that show things that shouldn't be on Mars. Definitely not on the moon. If you go to Lunar Anomalies and Beyond, which is my moon channel, you can see a lot of the stuff there. A lot of this stuff is being censored. It's being put over the real photos. What you see on the moon, when you see these buttes or these hills, they're not hills at all. And when you see a lot of these, photos, and when you strip away the overlaid photo or the censoring, suddenly these things are not. These are like machines. Some of them look like spacecraft. Some of them, and of course we can't vet any of it, so it's all speculation as to what they are. But you can see the astronaut, and you can see these items, and some of them are quite large. So you can see that. Mars, I've got one. It looks like, and we've talked about this before, where it looks like there's a slope going down a hill, and it looks like there's a friggin' army jeep sitting on the side, and it looks like one. It's not like there's a stone here and a stone here. Oh, wow, that looks like a jeep. No. This actually looks like an actual a vehicle, and there's multiple ones sitting, like some are buried and some just weird. Can we vet any of this? Absolutely not. There's no way we can go there and pick it apart. There's no way we can do any of that. We can only speculate as to what they are, but that's what they look like. And a lot of people I've asked personally, I've taken that photo. I don't have it here, but I had printed out on Kodak gloss photo, and I told these guys this story before where I went into my job and I said, hey, I got a black and white photo for you to look at. I went to my boss, and I said, tell me what you think this is. I said, there's no right or wrong answer, by the way. I'm not going to hint to what it is. Okay. He's looking at it. He starts giggling. I said, what's funny? He said, I don't know, man. He says, is this like a loaded question? I said, no. Again, there's no right or wrong question. ants rather. So he goes, okay. He said, I'll be honest with you, it kind of looks like a Jeep. Okay, you're the fourth person who said that. And he's like, really? And I said, and by the way, that's Mars. He went, what? I said, yeah. That's from one of the rovers. Of course, he didn't know anything about the rovers or anything because he doesn't keep up on that. But he couldn't believe it. He says, you're kidding. I said, no. So I said, please explain that. There you go. Yeah, you're right about that, Dirk. Yeah, NASA's a bunch of incompetent douchebags, though. Well, I think they're douchebags not because of the innovations, their technologies that they're making, because a lot of that will wash and water down basically to the public, like microwaves and fiber optics and all this other BS. In that aspect, I love everything about NASA. It's the leaving people basically in the dark like we're a bunch of mushrooms and we don't have a clue or could possibly look at and be seeing. The idea that they're not forthcoming with the information, yeah, that's not right. It's the most important information known to man, but let's stifle that. Come on. I don't believe that for a moment. That's just wrong. Yeah, exactly. Turkler what's going on there, Turkler? Good to see you. And he said, Elon Musk tweet, I'm not saying they are UFOs, but there are UFOs. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that very same thing. Like I said, I mean, he went from laughing and scoffing about UFOs to, I believe there's life on other planets. What? So I'm glad he had said that. Which, incidentally, I don't know if you guys know, too, but let me see here. Not that. But have you seen that about Sammy Hagar? As well as, what was her name? Demi Lovato, talking about abductions and UFOs. These are people who are, like, famous and everything else, right? Check this out. Let me see if I got this other audio up. You guys are going to love this. Let's make sure this is not too loud. I'm going to mute myself here, and I'm going to play this with Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker.
Sammy Hagar, I have to ask you, there's a story that came out, I think it was actually in your book, talking about being abducted by aliens. Is that true, and can you expand on that story for us?
Is it true? Yes, it is true. You don't go around saying stuff like that. People call you a nut. I've been, everybody that's ever asked me about that expects me to try to backpedal. 100% happened. 4 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, dead sleep. I felt like I was being programmed. I like someone was tapping into me, like it was a string. A place called Lyle Creek, and I know right where it was. This little foothills. At the foothills, there was an object there. There was 2 people in it, 2 creatures in it, and it was I want to say it was 64, 65. It was so there was no remote control.
Yeah.
There was no satellites. There was no computers, but I sensed they were tapping into me somehow. And they went, oh, he's waking up. All mental telepathy, the communication went in my head. He's waking up. They yelled out a numerical code, not of our numerical system. It's like, and it went. And I could almost feel the plug, like an electrical charge, leaving, zapped into their ship, put a light on in the ship where I see shadows of these creatures. And I woke up in my house, in my bed. My room was infinity white. I couldn't move. I was completely paralyzed. My eyes were open. And all of a sudden, bam! It just went black. And it was the time it was. And I broke sweat. And I was shaking. And I felt like my body was so drained. From that moment on, I believed in UFOs. I started looking into astronomy. I became a junior astronomer. And I started figuring out. Till before that day, I never even looked at the sky and thought of anything except for, there's a lot of stars out tonight. I was looking at the ground. Looking at the ground, looking for money. But yeah, very unique experience. And from that day on, I believe hard in the universe and UFOs and creatures. The thought of us being the only ones in this giant universe, when you know a little bit about astronomy. You know how big the universe is and what a speck of nothing we are?
Yep.
That to think that we're the only ones is pretty screwy. Those people are crazier than the guys that believe in UFOs. But I think there's a whole bunch of different ones. It's not just there's not just one. They're all over out there. There's all kinds of dimensions, and I don't think they were programming me. I think they were just interested, like we do with animals. So they had advanced technology where they were sucking my brain to see what I knew, and by me catching them, enlightened me. I didn't learn anything. They didn't put something in my brain make me special. I don't believe that at all. I just believe that by having that experience and realizing that it happened, my brain went boop. It's like taking acid. My mind expanded, and I started searching for, the truth and things like that, and I still am.
And that was in the early mid-60s? Do you ever have any experience after that, or that was the only time?
Oh, no. I've had a couple since then, too. Different ones. Different people. These little gray creatures that were hanging out in Lake Placid. I had a house out in the wilderness that I had just no electricity and stuff, a log cabin. Back in the early 80s, 81, 82. And these little guys are hanging around in that cabin, man, one night. And, even slamming doors and stuff. Not slamming, yeah. They were physical guys. I don't know if they were robots or what, but it was freaky. It scared me to death.
And is it true, like, on every single one of your albums, is there a song that's titled after space or something with Frontier? And do you have a theme going that maybe not everyone picks up on, but is there a theme going with every one of your albums?
Yeah, Space Station number 5, first Montrose album. Second Montrose album, 1975, was Space Age Sacrifice. My first solo album, Hot Rocks, which changed into another song, but Silver Lights is about the return of the aliens coming back to check out their planet that they populated somehow, propagated with planted seeds that they grew. The next album, Red, had Someone Out There. The next album, Turn Up the Music, had Crack in the World on that record. As far as I can remember that, little. Then I stopped doing it every album.
Yeah.
But every now and then I got one on there.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, folks. What do you guys think of that? I mean, it's not just us. You heard what he said, though. He's like, oh, some people think you're nuts and everything else. Well, the average person that doesn't look into this stuff is going to think you're nuts because they don't have no desire to research. They have no desire or nothing's happened to them. And that's it. Dirk Jensen, you said aliens can't drive 55. Heck, back in the 80s, they used to say 55 saves lives. Not now. You do 55 now, they'll drive over the top of you. Yeah. So it's, him talking about it. I'm going to play this other one, too, from that singer there, Demi Lovato, which is very short. It's not like as long as his. But it's just funny how, now that the government has released this information, of course, everybody's feeling a little freer about it. Now, had they started coming out prior to that, they really would have thought they was nuts because it's not in the mainstream. It's not the government saying it. So what is it doing? So right off the bat, you're going to think, off the deep end. So it's cool that these people are coming out talking about it, right? Now, this thing just jumped on me here, so I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to the bottom here. Jean Ward, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I did see you pop in there while I had this video going. So good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. It says you were busy. Try not to overwork yourself. That's not good. I don't know if it's Enrico or Erico, but you said, do ETs like the new ABBA songs? I used to like a lot of their old stuff. Now, I haven't heard of the new stuff, but it's supposed to be pretty good. But, hey, you never know, right? Remember that, what was the name of that movie? Was it Independence Day? Well, you can actually hear, like, you're pulling out of the Earth's atmosphere, and you keep going back, and you can hear the music playing and newscasts and everything else. So, I'm sure they can, radio waves just travel, to infinity. So you can bet at some point they heard all kinds of our transmissions, whether TV, radio, whatever it may be, right? Kyle Harvey said, yeah, I run like 75 miles an hour and people pass me like I'm sitting still on the freeway. It's crazy they're driving like 95 miles an hour, dude. Yeah, well, I do the same thing. Believe it or not, I set my cruise. I'll do 65, 70 mile an hour. I'm in a low-speed lane, just chilling. The reason why I'll do that, it's comical. Because while you're driving, now keep in mind, it's 3 or 4 lanes. So they got plenty of room to just blast right by me. What I find interesting is you can see these people just jockeying in front of each other, getting pissed off. And I go, what is the point? Just chill, man. You know, when I was younger, you know, I had a Monte Carlo. It was a 77 Monte Carlo, 350 built. Had a really big gear. It was like a 308 highway gear is what I called it. And it'd be nothing to do 155, 160 miles an hour. Now, would I do that all the time? Hell no. When you start seeing the lines in a road become one, that's a little scary. And it's not something you want to keep doing because you will blow the thing to bits. But, you know, you do it once or twice, you go, all right. But I still wouldn't do that. I'd still be like chilling at 70 miles an hour, just chill out and just go. Drive down the road, just, you know, I don't see the logic. I mean, unless there's an emergency, of course. But to me, I'd just rather just cruise down the road. Less chance of blowing anything out of your car. Less chance of an accident happening because you're going a little bit slower than the rest of the traffic. There's too many people jockeying in front of each other and making lane changes where you just boom. There's bound to be an accident. I've seen it all the time. There's just no point in it. People are in a hurry to go nowhere. Exactly, Ricardo. He said, when I was 20, I would drive fast. Now I am in my 40s. I don't bother. It's not worth it. I mean, you know, every now and then you want to put your foot in it, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, when you used to drive fast, you know, people go, oh, man, I'm doing 140 miles an hour on the highway. Okay. Be careful. I mean, it's not even a big deal. Hey, Strauss 1AV said, love Contact. Read the novel in 86. Movie was great. It definitely is. Exactly, Kyle. You said where do they try to cut each other off? It's hilarious, and they ride up each other's butts. You can go faster than the car in front of you. Yeah, I know. That's what I don't get. You know. That's true, Kyle. You're right about that. You said, but some people do go ridiculously slow. I don't have an issue. Like I said, I'll do 65, 7, just put on cruise and just cruise down the road. But, you know, I've got a hybrid, so I'm getting like 53 miles to the gallon. And I've gotten up to 57 miles to the gallon. However, I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to be rude. Get the hell out of the way. Some people sit right in your way and don't care. It's all about them and nothing more. I get out of the way and stay off the road. Now, if there's only a 2-lane highway, I'm not doing 65, 70. I'm doing like 75, 80. I'm roughly around 75. And because, again, I wouldn't want to be stuck. I wouldn't want to be the person stuck behind that slow guy. It happens every time, though. I'll come out of here now. As soon as you come out of my road, it's 55 miles an hour. So I come out, and there's always that one guy, once you get into certain sections, like it goes down to 45, they're doing 35, they're doing 40. I said, what is with people today? They're either going way too slow or they're going way too fast. There's no, hey, that's the speed limit. Let me go ahead and do that. I just don't get it. I really don't. Yeah, exactly, Ricardo. Yep. You're talking to Kyle. Yep, you're absolutely right. Kyle, you also said, yeah, I hate the person that gets in the left lane and is going the same speed as the people in the middle lane, and everybody is right on their butts as you get over you stupid a-hole. Yeah, well, it's not even that. Here's the thing. People don't understand the rules of the road. First of all, the left lane, which I call a high-speed lane, is for passing only. It doesn't mean you travel in it. This is what people don't get. You're supposed to pull ahead of them and then get back into the middle lane. You do not drive in it. You're not supposed to just cruise on it for 55 miles. You don't do that. It's a passing lane. Go in around, get around the person, get back out of the lane. People will sit there all day long. I've seen people do 65 in the high-speed lane, and they wonder why people are flashing lights, beeping horns, flipping them off, and they just can't understand why. Or they don't care. You know, it's just the way it is. Not much you can do about it. Max K said Skinwalker Ranch is scary. Wouldn't like to camp out there on my own. I don't know. I think that would be interesting. I think I'd be more worried about wildlife wanting to eat me than I would, anything else that's supposedly crazy going on there. I don't know how many times people dared me. Hey, you want to go into that old, psych ward building or whatever else? You should hear all the crazy. I'll go in there. How much you got? You better cough up some serious bank if you want me to do that. They're like, why? You afraid? No. Because you won't do it. So clearly, you better pay me the money and I'll do it. I don't have a problem with that. Z Humble Pie, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, hit that like button, everyone. Bam. I say, hit it good. Oh, you God. It says, she, I'm sorry, whichever. He said, stuck behind a school bus is murder. It can be. I actually time going to pick up my son because it's like I know exactly when all the buses start coming out, the 15-mile-an-hour zones and everything else. And this way I sail right through it. Long before all that starts happening. Mike Knapp, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Kyle, thank you guys. It sounds like we know how to drive. Yeah, just unfortunately, most people don't. William Johnson, there you go. I drive more carefully now because of the gas price. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it would be going up. It's creeped up here as well. And I'm saying to myself, okay, it's not like it's the summertime where more and more people are going to get out. It's starting to get colder and colder. So at some point, people are going to do less traveling. I mean, it's not like they're not going to travel at all, right? Because clearly you still got to go to work. You still got to pick up your kids, got to do whatever. But when it's summertime, you tend to joyride. You tend to just go out and just have a great time. Well, so I can understand the demand of fuel going up. And I don't know of any major, holiday coming up. Am I missing something? All right, let's see. Let me play this other one for you guys. Now, this is, let me see.
Demi is also starting a new project. The subject, extraterrestrials.
This bright light kind of moved in like these weird ways that a plane wouldn't move.
The singer is on the hunt for aliens in a new streaming Peacock channel show called Unidentified with Demi Lovato.
Say hello to Demi.
Basically, we went out there with equipment and meditated and tried to make contact.
And
you'll have to watch the show.
Oh, come on. So when you say make contact, what does that mean?
When I say make contact, I don't mean like touching fingers with an ET. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by making contact is just by putting the intention out into the universe that you will see something from another world and then you see something that you can't explain.
So you feel like, I actually believe this as well, that there are other things other than us out there in the universe.
Yes, I do. And I am totally okay with people thinking that I have lost my marbles. But I have seen some things in the sky that I cannot explain.
This past year, the pop star released a new show, new music, a new podcast, a new identity, demonstrating Demi is a master when it comes to the art of starting over. Do you have...
But what I find interesting is a lot of people are coming forward. That's what I like. And like I said, I think it's triggered by, the government, the Pentagon coming out with it now. And I think it's interesting that, like she even said, people are going to think, she lost her marbles. And a lot of you guys said the same thing where you said, well, you like it here because you're not being ridiculed, because you get to talk about these things and, again, not be ridiculed, right? So, because I look at it this way. If you've done research yourself, which a lot of you have, or just follow the channel, whatever it may be, and, you're saying, I see the truth. There's more to it, and there's more to life and to our lives than just this planet Earth. Where most people, and I've said this before, where they go to work, come home, have dinner, maybe throw some bonbons down their throat, and they're watching their little, reality shows and everything else, and they just think you're a quack. And you go, okay, so let me get this right. So you're more interested in other people's lives, which shouldn't matter to you at all. I'd rather spend more time researching. Thanks, anyway. Because I like to learn something new. Because, I don't know it all. I'd love to. And so I'm more into scientific or ancient, whether ancient technologies, ancient sites, so on and so forth. I'm not a big fan of just reality garbage. A buddy of mine was telling me, he says, my wife watches that crap all the time. I said, why would anybody want to watch what somebody else is doing with their lives? Who cares? You want to do something constructive, feel like you're like advancing your knowledge, and to me that's just brain rot. But that's just my personal opinion. That doesn't mean everybody has to agree. There may be some people here that like to watch that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. To me, I just don't care for it. That's all. So, it's just weird how people spend their time, just wasting it. But maybe they don't feel it's a waste of time. They just go, no, I just like watching it. I don't know. It's like watching the Jerry Springer show. Yeah, you can watch that if it makes your life feel better. Of course, it probably would, because everything on that's trash anyway. I remember watching that years ago, and I went, wow, this has got to be staged. I mean, look at this. Are you serious right now? Used to call it trash TV, Patrick Owen, what's happening? He said, yay, so glad you're back, Chris. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Pat? Good to see you in there. Or Patrick, if you want to prefer to be called that. Let's see. Kyle, I know you have. You said, I've done a ton of research, and that's what it's all about. I've said this before. If the newbies come on my channel and they say, hey, listen, I want to see what this guy's all about, you can either like the channel or hate it. It's not going to, stop me from sleeping at night. But my hopes is that even if you think it's bogus, that's fine. Do your own research, though. Because you might find, well, maybe these guys are not quacks like I thought they were. Although, I don't know if you guys seen that with Joe from Art Alien TV put on there about them bogus Martian channels. Yeah, what was the one you guys are talking about? Daniel something or other. I watched that channel a couple times. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. There's no way on Earth or on Mars that you're going to get that crystal clear photo and you're not going to see that kind of anomaly that close or that clear. It's not going to happen. It's absolutely bogus channel. And like Joe said, he thinks it's AI robots or AI bots that are doing it to, discredit channels like ours. I said, they can have it all day long. I don't care. And the funny thing about it, not a whole lot of them, I think there's like 5 or 6 he named off, that actually can see their viewer count. But yet they're getting a ton of views. How is that possible? The channels were never around. Suddenly they pop up and they got like extremely amounts of views. How is that working? Yeah. I think it's all drummed up and made up, to be honest with you. Kyle Harvey, thank you again for your support, brother. He said reality TV is fake TV. YouTube is real TV here. Well, don't get me wrong. You know that old saying, well, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. Well, there's a lot of bogus crap out there. We know that. So this is the reason why when people come on my channel, I say, do your own research. Here's the link to the photo. Have a look at it yourself. And some people have said, listen, I've already had Photoshop. I decided to just check this photo. I thought you were full of crap. But then I started doing the same thing you talked about, and I'll be darned if this stuff's not there. You're going to believe your own eyes and ears or nose, whatever, depending on what you're going to use, what sense. So that's why I encourage everybody, here's the link, check it out. And it reminds me, if you look at these other channels, ask them for the legit link. If they don't show you the legit link, don't follow the channel. It's bogus. Don't even waste your time. It's for entertainment, but even then, it's like a discredit to real channels, so it's crap. High Grade Gaming, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Jerry Lahane's in there. I think I said hello to you, Jerry, haven't I? Yeah, exactly, Lee. He said Springer's absolutely scripted. I have a buddy who made up a story and was on there. Well, here's the thing, though. I know some girl. In fact, we know some girl that used to work with us years ago. She was on that show, and that wasn't bogus. So I don't think they all are. I think he gets slow and he just starts doctoring these up or just saying, let's just make the story up. So I think you're right. But we also knew a person that was on there, who was absolutely on the show. And because she's like right from the sticks, they were making fun of her bad. They were like, oh my God. It was sad. But, you know, like I said, she worked with us years ago. William Johnson said, I agree. I like to watch a lot of things that give insight or knowledge. Yeah, because to me it's more constructive. Now, you can tell, like I used to watch Ancient Aliens a lot. I'll still watch it periodically to see what kind of shows they have on. But the second like I said, they were doing great right from the first season, so on and so forth. Then they got to talking about, was Bigfoot an alien? I went, oh, come on. They were talking about there was something else that was just ridiculous. Come on. You know, that's where I got to draw the line. You know, it's one thing to talk about ancient civilizations and how they, where they talk about what they seen in the skies or, you know, their gods came down. Now, could some of it be bogus? Could it be bogus? Sure. But there's a lot of ancient civilizations that talk about that, how their gods came down from the heavens and taught them this, that, and the other. Showed them different things, showed them how to build, like the overseers from Egyptian text and hieroglyphs and everything else, how the overseers came down and showed them how to build the pyramids and so on and so forth. So if all the stories are bogus, then we've all been duped. But what's the chances of that when these civilizations are all around Earth? I mean, it's crazy, right? Planetary Protector, what's going on? Thank you very much for your support as well. He said, Dave over at Mars X3D was a skeptic till he took a look. Exactly. When he first started off, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how new you are to this channel, but I've said this before. When I first started watching some of these channels, now I was doing my own, you know, work and research long before I started doing videos, right? One day I'm watching this thing and watching one of Will's, you know, videos from What's Up in the Sky 37. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm going, okay, he's talking about rocks and how they have these funky shapes and this, that, and the other. But like I said, all of a sudden, I seen what looked like a see-through rock, and I could see shapes through it. Like I said, I use the analogy like Casper the Friendly Ghost, where he's transparent, almost transparent, but you could see the outline of him pretty well. And I said the same thing. I said, well, I can see the outline really well, but I can't really see the object. So I started to really get into it that way and looking at the lines that were underneath this fake overlay. And that's how I started. So I wasn't really sure, and I couldn't get my mind wrapped around this. I'm saying, there's no way. There's no way this is in this photo. How can this be? So then I learned and researched about how the Curiosity takes pictures and how it does Z-stacking and how it takes multiple pictures of that same area, so on and so forth, which to me allows them to doctor up that same photo and then overlay it over the top of the actual photo. So the real information of the photo is still there, but it's been doctored up. So if somebody wanted to seriously put it in forensics, photo forensic, they could see, oh, it's got the right information. You can see where the camera they used, you know, whether it's a flash, blah, 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 blah. List goes on, how many pixels. And yet, all the information's there, but it's been overlaid with garbage. So you can't, but this is how I got started. And like I said, not to blow my own horn, but I don't think anybody else is doing it. There are people enhancing what they see, but I'm trying to dig up what people are not taking a look at. The stuff that's like almost invisible, but it's there. So, and I've learned that a long time ago, just how they do it. And I said, okay, we'll just start doing it that way and just bring this stuff out. That's what it's all about. Mike Hoover, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. John Shop's in there. What's going on? Third phase of the moon is as bad. Well, I don't know if they started getting... It's kind of like a lot of the channels where they were doing real bogus work and everybody was onto them, right? And then they decided, this is not working for us, man. We're just... You know, everybody's starting to attack us and everything else that, you know... And I think they got back on the straight and narrow where they're trying to do more legit stuff. So I praise them for that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You know... it's like it comes down to, it's like myself. I can't do a video and BS somebody because if you've got a conscience, you're not going to do that. So I go, listen, this is what I'm seeing. I'm going to pull this out the best that I can. I'm going to convey it to you. You guys can then get the link yourself and then try it and look at it yourselves. You come up with your own conclusion. That's what it comes out to. And that's the way I've always done these videos. So I can rest good at night because I know what I'm conveying is the truth. At least the way I feel and what I'm pulling out of these photos. I can't speak for other channels, right? But some of them have been like, we better just start flying on the straight and narrow here, like Tyler was doing, where they caught him doing bogus work. And then, of course, he apologized, straightened his crap out, and now he's trying to do legit stuff. And you got to give the kid credit for that. People are like, okay, well, at least he straightened his crap out and he's doing a lot better. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I think it's good that he's doing that. Oh, you guys are talking about Corey Good and Gene. You're saying, Jean. I'm thinking Gene. I keep making the same mistake when I first talked to you. You said there's a place for Corey Good, Goad, whatever his name is, and David Wilcox, but I don't think it's on Ancient Aliens. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the program, but you know that they're just adding more and more stuff to this just to make the money. That's what it's all about. You know, it's all about embellishment and dragging it on. Now, I'm not saying none of the information they're bringing forth isn't true and it's not factual. I'm just saying that it seems like they add a little bit more next year, add a little bit more next year, add a little bit. So this way they can continue to be on these shows and make these money and to make the money. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that if you're being honest. But if you're just doing it just for the sake of the show, just to keep turning the dollar bills, I just don't see it. You know, be honest about it. And if you're making the money, then you deserve it because you're bringing the information forth. And I think you should, you deserve to. But I don't know. Oh, snap. Maurice Faulkner, he said, I wish they'd come down and show my missus how to cook. Ooh! Hope she's not in the same room with you. You're going to get hit over the head with a rolling pin or something. Yeah, I seen that. I like that channel, Kyle. You said UFO TV on demand. Well, definitely open your eyes on YouTube. Yeah, I like that one. That's very well put together. I think it's Lord Nagatron. Cliff High is a genius. He recommended this channel. Yeah, Cliff is pretty cool. I like Cliff. I follow a lot of his stuff. Yeah, he's very brilliant. Good guy. And he was talking about how somebody had told me from one of his subs said, yeah, he sent me here. He was talking about your Antarctica, I think, in one of the videos. And I was like, really? I must have missed that one. So I went back and he was talking about it. And, he sent a lot of subs my way, and I'm thankful for that. And he's a good guy. I'll watch him periodically. He said that he's talking about the COVID. He's talking about all kinds of stuff and a lot of high-tech stuff. And, yeah, the guy's no joke. And you can usually tell somebody when they're full of crap. And I like Cliff High. He's a good guy. Templar Royston of Vassy, you said maybe the aliens needed some slave labor, found some apes and thought with a few extra brain cells, these apes could work tools for us. Well, that's one of the stories of one of the ancient civilizations. How they did that. They literally changed our DNA and used this as a mine for gold so they could take it back to their planet, Nibiru. That's what it was. The Anunnaki is the one that come down and changed the DNA. And when they were leaving, they said one of the, I guess it's a council, if you want to call it that, where there's like a group of them, like a head of leaders or whatever, and said, all right, just destroy the race. We're good with it. No, leave them alone. Just let them go do their thing. And so, of course, we evolved from there. And now I don't know how true that story is, but it is actually, written. And but scientists are even saying, how do we get this huge leap from being kind of like apes to where we are now? We had this huge leap in development and brain, and they're wondering how this all happened, right? So yeah, pretty interesting. me see. John Shaw, Chris, your research bar has hot babes on it. Really? Oh, is it over here? Is it on the side? I'm not seeing it. That's pretty funny. Vassie, okay. Vasey? Is that what it is? Is it Royston? Vassie? Vasey? Okay. Well, it's not names I use all the time, so it's kind of like, got to get corrected sometimes, right? The Humble Pie said they are marinating us with the Vax. Mimi reacts says, Chris, I thought about this today. What are we talking about? Because I know we just covered a few things. Mimi reacts says, oh, it just happened everywhere around the same time. Mm-hmm. Tony Gibbs, you said, imagine the first flight landing on the moon in a single generation. Yeah. Well, again, I don't think the public knew about this. In other words, I believe NASA was already testing rockets long, and of course they were, but long before any Apollo mission, and right from Apollo 10, which they never landed on the moon. They just basically orbited around it. But they've been testing rockets for years and, doing all kinds of things with the capsule and putting it together and stuff like that. People think, oh, they just kind of, like within a year or two, they decided to put this together and they shot it off to the moon. And, they've been doing this for years. It's just like this, the SR-71. You can bet that thing's been planned since the 40s, putting blueprints together, making prototypes and everything else. I think it was the 1950s that it went into secret missions, and there was more than one. And then it was, in the 90s? They made it declassified? Seriously? So if they had it back then, they kept improving. So it's no wonder. I'll bet they have anti-gravitics because they've been doing that for years as well. It seemed to me that was back in the 40s as well. That they were doing testing anti-gravitics and stuff, right? Getting an itch. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Kyle, you said and nothing nuclear, we can have any gravity propulsion systems that are all electric and not nuclear. Yeah. I hate when this thing jumps. Hold on. Go back to where it was. Tony Gibbs, you said so many structures in our Apollo 10 photos before we landed. Yeah, sure. Well, the thing is, I think they went and they made their own trip around there just to eyeball certain areas, right? They didn't have to land. So I think what happened was they used this as a test, obviously, do many tests to actually orbit. And then, of course, they were taking pictures of areas. Wow, this one looks like a good place to land. This one didn't. So they pretty much had it mapped out, if you will. And then it was like the, segue into Apollo 11. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Owen, you said Crow 777 said we never reached the moon. He said we would have never made it out of the radiation belt. Well, he started off okay, and then it went mental. And the reason why I say that, the moon's a hologram now. It's invisible. It's not there. First, he started off with, look, the spacecraft, and he was doing his own, right? Remember, he was doing his own video capture of the moon, seeing spacecraft. All of a sudden, it was fake. It's not real. Started doing his own little podcast. I don't know if he's even still around anymore, but and there's no there's no reason why you can't go through the radiation belts. They had all that planned out. I've described it, excuse me, I've described that years ago, because if you read up on the radiation belts, there are, like I said, depending on the activity of the sun, you can have up to 3 belts going around the Earth. So, and then of course most of the time it's 2. So what happens is, if you go towards the North or South Pole, you can get away from that. You can get around and maybe be exposed to maybe small parts of the belt where it's not as dense, or, you know, it's not as thick. So in other words, they can get through it with minimal, getting, any kind of radiation whatsoever. So there's no doubt you can definitely get through it. And they have. Yeah, I've heard about that too. You guys were talking about, I think you're going back, Patrick, you're talking to Jean, where you said, oh my God, YouTube is deleting a lot of people. I've seen that. Where, in fact, who was just talking about that? My buddy David over there at Mars X3D, he was talking about how he's not going to be doing many videos because I don't think he's getting recognized like he should be. And it's like it's gotten stagnant. Any channel like myself, David's, the real Jimmy Roberts, all that. It's like we had a lot of growth, all of a sudden leveled right off. So the only way you can get, real good, like, like a boost in subs or anything like that, is if you get mentioned by another channel or you're on something else. Other than that, very slow growth. And this is what's aggravating, because people go, listen, I want this truth out. I want people to see it and exposed to it, and yet can't do that. There's no growth. That's not right. Because here's the thing, what's funny about it. They don't mind putting, if you monetize like I do, they don't mind putting their ads on it, but no. We'll make the money off you, but we're going to stunt your growth so you can't make any money. Oh, so it's that one of those one-way deals. So, yeah, not good. Pete Ferrero said, NASA's been working on impulse engine technology, shows promise. Yeah, they're trying all different kinds of propulsions, right? They were talking about plasma at one time, ion, and they're just trying to find the right propulsion. And a lot of it is electrical now, and it's the way they're using these things. It's pretty sweet. Now, I haven't seen that yet, Joss. You're talking about how about the puddle of muddy water found on Mars by Percy just before they stopped connection for the month. I haven't seen that photo. I haven't been into it because, like I said, I've been doing the Antarctica, so I haven't really been into it. If anybody's got a link to that photo, I'd love to check it out. Z Humble Pie, I agree with you. You said NASA tech is antiquated. Magnetism is the key. Well, understand they're showing the public what they're running. In other words, it's almost like they're saying, yeah, this is the best we've got right now. These Atlas 5s or whatever, right? This is the best we have right now to show the public that. But behind the scenes, anti-gravitics, just crazy. You can get to probably Mars in like 3 days, 5 days, as opposed to 9. Well, it used to be 9 months. Now I think it's like 6 or 7, which is just crazy because you know as well as I do, rockets? You've been playing with rockets since the 30s and 20s, whatever. Come on now. You're not going to tell me you're still running the same crap technology. Like I said, I think that's for the public side, but then what's really going on is, so people just going, yeah, we're making slow progress, but we're finally getting there. In the meantime, these guys are traveling back and forth like it's no big deal. And like you said, they might have bases on Mars, on the moon, and they're just traveling wherever they want. And you can't see them doing it because I'm sure they got like a cloaking kind of thing going on. Kurt Urbana, she said, rockets are obsolete and use too much fossil fuel. We need innovation. Well, like I said, you can bet that's for the public side. And, and then, of course, they've got the black ops side where it's much, much better than you think. Let me see here. Yep, Ricardo, you're right about that. You said YouTube seems to be on the purge. Oops. Phil C, you taking off? You said good night all. 4 a.m. comes early. Chris, stay healthy, my friend. Everyone else, until next time. All right, Phil, thanks for being here, brother. We'll see you next time, right? Patrick Owen, you said I go on Rumble about half the time now. Mm-hmm. Lee Herring, you said aliens could be hibernating under Antarctica. The only thing I can think of, because it's kind of like what we're saying about Mars, right? Said they may be underground, they may be doing this. The only way I can see that is if we made contact with them somehow and they're willing to coexist. But snooping around, I don't think they'd appreciate that. And maybe they wanted to stay hidden. So I don't know if it's a possibility. Of course, I'm not chalking it off as no, it could never happen. I think it's a very good possibility. But how do they make that arrangement? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, whether it's the moon, Mars, Antarctica right here. What? So, I don't know. Ricardo Petrazzi said if your spacecraft generates its own version of Earth's magnetic field, the Van Allen belt is not an issue. True. You know? Absolutely. 786 Auto, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. You probably popped in there a hair bit earlier, but because this thing jumped on me. Patrick is a Crow 777 does his own radio podcast now. He also says Jim Morrison's dad started the Vietnam War. Ooh, okay. Pete Ferrero, he said, alien life never went away. That's why Antarctica is important. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that. I mean, you could look it up there. There's I think it was back in the 40s or maybe early 50s, they were talking about how there's an army, how they literally went there, built a base just underneath the surface where they have, like, rooms like you would find in your own house, right? There's areas where you can sit down and read. You can, hang out with the other Army guys on the base and just chill. They had bedrooms like you'd find in your own house. I think it was nuclear powered as far as their power source, but everything was underground. I'm going, okay, so why would you make a permanent base in Antarctica if there's nothing but ice and cold? What would be the point? The only thing I can see is that they're trying to stop other countries from, like, taking over it. But what is the point? There's nothing there. Let them have at it. What's there to do? Now, if you made a treaty saying nobody can ever build on there because we just don't want anybody on it, then you do that. But what would be the purpose of wanting to do studies? I mean, you can go by, I guess, if you want to do checking out any kind of, global warming. They've done this years ago. They check out the core samples. They could tell within these samples, different decades or thousands of years, whatever, and they could tell if there was an actual a warming in the prior years that, were prior to that. So I get that part. But to stay there permanently, what's there that you need to be there permanently? I don't buy it. Maybe, yeah, it's more of an itch than anything. And I'll get that sometimes because my throat will dry out and start getting that little itch. Even sometimes when I go to bed, I get that. I was like, what the hell? But that's pretty much it. It's aggravating, but yeah, you know how that works. and it's funny. You could be just chilling all day and never have an issue. The second you lay down, you start getting an itch. You're going, of course. Yeah, Jean, yeah, you're right. It's the same way here. You said views and subs on my channel have stagnated completely. Absolutely. John Schaub, you said I got thrown off Jean's channel by YouTube. I don't know how many people have just told me, I don't know what it is, man. I haven't gotten a notification from you in so long. Now suddenly I got one. What is going on here? It's like they're going, okay, just Start throwing these people off so they don't get any kind of notifications. This way here they won't watch to cut down your views. That's not right. This is the reason why I said, even if you don't get a notification, just check back with the channel. Even if it takes you 2 seconds, let me just check if he's got anything new. Okay, he doesn't. Off you run. Oh, yes, he does. Boom. Because they are being sneaky like that, and that's not right. Because if it's you, the person on here that wants to watch a certain video, I don't care what it's about. I don't care if it's drag racing, space, or whatever it may be. If you want to go on there and see it, you want to be notified of the new person, the channel's new videos. And it's not right for them to do that. But what I don't understand is, like, if you're Google AdSense or Google themselves and you're saying, okay, we're going to put ads in this guy's videos, her videos, whoever it may be, doesn't it not shoot themselves in the foot because they're not getting as many views? So they're counting on the views as well. What's the point? It just makes no sense. Here's the other thing that's crazy. When I made that Antarctica channel, and I said, for now on, all the Antarctica videos are going to be there, when I first put that in there, I put Antarctica and its hidden secrets. It wouldn't go on. It would not take that name. Sorry, you cannot use that name. I'm like, what is going on here? So I tried to change it up a little bit different. It still said, you cannot use that name. I'm going, why does it matter? It's not like somebody has this exact same title or channel name, because I've looked it up. And third time it finally took to it. And when I tried to post that video, it kept saying, if you've ever uploaded a video, it'll be in standard definition, then it'll go to high definition. It kept saying high definition. It's processing. It's processing. Half hour, an hour goes by. It's still, I went, what? Took the video back off, uploaded it again. It did it again, but this time it finally went through. And that's not the first time it's happened to me. A bunch of crap. Yeah, I mean, you know, Pat, you said YouTube is evil. Well, it's, you know, again, it's almost like free speech is no longer free. It's like you just get thrown off the channel or anywhere, and that's pretty much it. Not cool. Yeah, I don't know. Tony Gibbs, you said, I read a story years ago about a scientist that published a paper of anti-gravity. Just saw a YouTube video on the scientist that disappeared, which brought it all back. Mm-hmm. Imagine that, huh? James Craig said, Krista Clementine mission is supposed to be the most photographed of all missions, and the evidence that came back to the leadership in NASA was said to be frightening, and it's well recorded. Yeah, exactly. You know, I've seen this myself, where a lot of this stuff, like I said, is being suppressed, and it's not right. I mean, I can understand back then, because we're talking about what, late 50s, early 60s, you know, so on and so forth, or late 60s rather, early 70s, depending on which one you're looking at. Whether it's attempts to go to the moon or they actually did during the Apollo missions. It's like, I understand back then because people probably would have really lost it. But I mean, we've been so desensitized now, well, to a certain degree, because we see these movies about contact. Of course, if you see movies like Independence Day, first thing to do is you think all aliens are evil. Can't have that. So it's like they're trying to lead the populace in a certain way, like, oh, you don't ever want aliens here, man. That's not good. They had this thing on Twitter, and I don't know if I can bring this up now. Let's see if I can find this. Where I probably won't find it now. Let me see if it was here. I guess it's a person called Supernatural. Said in 1993 tape confession never before made public, Albert Einstein, assisting in the summer of 1947, made the stunning admission that she and a professor, so there's another lady, she worked along, she called herself the Gopher, but was working alongside and was actually her professor, were flown to Roswell and examined the debris and the bodies. And it said in the article that he wasn't even surprised. He knew that they were out there. And it would not surprise me because, I mean, when you're a brilliant mind like that, it's kind of like Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? For him to say, oh, no such thing as UFOs, he's full of crap. Come on. You know this guy has probably seen some serious crap, and he's probably been told, hey, whatever you do, just don't say nothing. That's it. Pelagic 6, she said it's all about control. That's basically what it comes down to. Z Humble Pie said those books by Boscovic fell into Tesla's hands because Tesla's dad was a religious man. You know, for whatever reason, I mean, you know, they stifle these people, and there's no need for that. In fact, that same article has Einstein, or the woman rather, talking about what she had seen. She was able to go to these hangars, but they wouldn't let her in, but she could hear everything they were talking about. And they even said that they've even talked to these aliens, asking them about, you know, even the aliens were asking us, what makes you guys or your life, like, stop? What have you done as far as technology? And, of course, they were asking them the same thing. They mentioned they were from a galaxy or someplace, and it was, like, total gibberish. Like, they didn't have a clue what that was. So, yeah. James Craig said the Department for the Editing of Material that is regarded not to be released to the public has expanded its building to a massive structure. The silence from Silicon Valley is to silence us. Well, that's what it comes down to. You know, suppress information like that so people can't be, you know, wise or privy to what's going on. And I think it's bogus. Like the photo here of, you know, Antarctica. Clearly could see structures. One guy says, oh, man, all I see is mountains. I'm going, wow, okay. I haven't seen a mountain like that was circled like that ever. And all the other little structures I see in there when you use a magnifier, and you can see where they've done their blurring, and of course it's like basically all over this photo. So you can only drag out certain parts, but nonetheless, there's so much in here. It's just crazy, right? Yeah. Pelagic 6, you said that guy is a shill. Yeah, pretty much. And Tony, you kind of echoed the same thing. He said Tyson is a mouthpiece for the powers that be. Always respected him until he started bashing Tesla and alien research. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. As soon as I started heard him talking trash like that, I was like, oh, serious, come on. Jerry Lehane, Tyson is my nemesis. Cameron, what's happening? He said, how are you, Chris? It's been a while. It has, Cameron. Doing much better, and I hope you're doing well as well. Exactly. They even had the Pope going there, Patrick. He said, remember a few years back when they had a lot of the Congress people visit Antarctica? Well, they had the Pope go. They had, Buzz went? They had so many people going there. It's like, you know, it's like people they knew that would keep their mouth shut. Like I said, Buzz Aldrin, they had the Pope, they had all kinds of people going there. For what reason? It's nothing but frozen tundra, right? Am I wrong here or what? Tampy girl, what's going on? She said, damn, it's late. James Cragen said, Chris, exactly. Some people have selective vision when it suits. That's a fact. Max K, you said the image is spectacular. It is. The amount of stuff in this thing is absolutely awesome. And like I said, I've done one on an area where it has, you know, supposed to be these buttes and mountains and everything else, and turn out to be what they put like an overlay, and you can see the structures inside it. Yeah. You got to learn to look beyond the actual photo. And people go, but it's the photo. How do you look beyond that? Well, it's what's inside or under layers of this that you need to bring out. Ricardo, you said head of the Russian Orthodox Church went too. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what? You know, it's funny how, like, the Catholic Church has its own telescope now. What do you need that for? I mean, suddenly they're taking this massive interest. Is it because they finally went over to Antarctica and now they're going, hey, yeah, we believe now? Because these are not ours? These structures are not ours? I don't know. But it's amazing what the mind can do when it gets triggered, right? It's like, wow. It's like yourself. If you ever had the opportunity to see such a thing, and I mean uncensored, unmanipulated, it would blow your mind, right? And you'd want more of it. So why not just, hey, we're just a church, but we'll get ourselves, we'll get a telescope and call it Lucifer. John St. Pierre, you said, when I seen this yesterday, I was like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, just the amount of stuff in here. And somebody had said, well, maybe it's military, because if they've been there since the 40s, they probably built up quite a bit. I don't know. That's a lot of structures. Now, could they have built a bunch of that? Sure. But just by the size of that one structure way in the back, and of course there's a bunch of them on the hillside, I don't think so. And it's the way it's built. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I don't think that is. And, if this picture exists, why have it exist at all? Because you're literally manipulating and censoring these things out, at least a lot of it. Why would it exist at all? Why even put it out? So, TMT Girl says, hi from Smoky, California. What's going on? Been a long time since I've seen you here. Of course, it's been a while since we've done a live feed. Valerian the Mac 3, what's happening? Good to see you in there, man. Frack Centurion, there he is. Good to see you back again, Chris. Well, it's good to be back, Frack. Good to see you in there, too. Eric Freeman, he said, is that Antarctica? It is. Somebody told me, he said, well, they got tours, you can go there. So I don't think that's there. That doesn't mean you're going to, this is quite a big area, guys. You know what I mean? Really, really large area. And if you have mountain ranges, blocking this, you'd never be none the wiser. You could be on a tour, they sail up over here and there's like a mountain range. And if they don't let you over that mountain range, you'll never see it. So it can be easily hidden, right? Oh, that's interesting. The Humble Pie said, by the way, there is a company now in Texas developing the Tesla Tower for free communication. Of course, that's going to be, they're going to put a price tag on that too. You know that. Nothing's ever free. They'll get it out of you some way. John St. Pierre, he said, who owns the land of it? I'd wonder. Well, the other thing I think, and I'm almost positive they have a treaty on that, where nobody can literally own the island. You can occupy it, but you can't own it, which is kind of weird because it's like, define own, because if you're there as a military and you dug up underground and you're literally living there, it's kind of your living space now, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe because they can't literally own it. Sean, you said, oops, a bit late there. Oh, you're fine. Good to see you in there, Sean. Oh, there's Julia. What's going on, Julia? He said it's not military. No. What I'm saying is this isn't. No. I know that person said, oh, it could be the military. I don't believe that for a moment. But they did actually have military there. I'm not sure what they call it. The name is evading me now. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, they built it in the late 40s, early 50s. I mean, what's the point of military even being there other than, like I said, trying to protect the treaty and not having people just go buck wild in there? But again, if there was nothing to see here, what is the point of being there? Like I said, it's one thing to go on an expedition and say, okay, we need, core samples, ice samples, whatever it may be. I get that. Again, you want to see the history of that particular area, because if you guys remember, I had done a live feed and I showed you where these two scientists and geologists literally did a core sample, and as it went down X amount of years, there was actually organics. There was greenery. So they know at some point it was a lush area, just like you'd find in the Amazon. So was the planet actually turned at one point on axis, and that it was a lot warmer in Antarctica, and now it has shifted back. There's so many theories that they try to use and come up with, but which are interesting no matter what. But again, when that guy said, oh, yeah, well, that could have been... No. I don't believe that for a moment. That's military. John Che, what's happening? He said only a few who were ever found in the commanders would say nothing as to what they were doing and where they went. Well, yeah, it's all mum's the word, right? Richard Bunny says, is that Mars? Because I just got in here. No, that's actually Antarctica and the structures that are there. Patrick, you said the Earth was probably the moon of Tiamat, like Mars. Well, that's one of the theories. Now, I don't know how true that is, because if you go by the theory or what some of the ancients said, where the actual moon was brought here, so was it from? If we were to believe that story, where was it brought from? You know, some say it was propelled by itself. Some say it was towed here. What the truth is, who knows, right? We'll probably never know the truth. But if it was in fact towed here, it's hard to tell where this thing was at. I particularly don't believe that's true. I believe the moon has been here, and they might have been using it to observe humans here on Earth. Think about it. You don't literally have to be here on Earth. You just go back to the moon, go on the other side of the moon. You know, bases there. There's a bunch of bases and structures there, so it would not surprise me. They just come and go as they please from Earth back to the moon. There you go. You know, maybe people are thinking, oh, they're probably from way out there. Well, how do you know that? They could be right there on the moon. Kenneth Proctor said twice over Ventura, California, I got to see the triangle UFO. I got my son out as a witness. And the amazing thing is how big it actually is. Massive. Yeah, and a lot of those, they talk about how those are very silent too, that you don't hear really anything from it, right? There are, Sean. You said, Chris, are there flight restrictions over the Antarctic, i.e. no fly zone? There's no fly zones. However, you can go in with a ship. In other words, because they have tours and everything else, and you can go see the whales and stuff like that and all kinds of stuff, and you can go there. And there's certain parts of the island you can go to. That's what people are getting confused about. They're saying, well, they can go there freely, so why haven't they seen these? That doesn't mean, again, there wasn't a mountain range between where you get off on the ship to where there's like a town where you can shop and then, of course, go on other boats and see, you know, whale watching and all this other stuff. That doesn't mean you can't do that. It just means that these things could be hidden, right? Which clearly they are, because people would have came back, thousands of people would have came back, I've just seen these things. You wouldn't believe it. Tartan McTwisted says, Admiral Byrd got chased out of Antarctica. It's a massive continent bigger than America. It is quite large. Yeah, they claimed it, you know. Well, I know he claimed about seeing UFOs as well as the green areas of Antarctica. And it was very warm, it was very lush, and there was a certain part of it. Not all of it was. And I'm still trying to remember if he was actually chased out of there, or I know I heard stories about that. Now, whether that was the truth, I don't know. But that would have been pretty interesting to be there. Nick Savage, what's happening? You said, evening, Chris. Mars is alive and well underground. Chris is onto them. Oh, yeah. Pete Ferreira said, why did the government keep Admiral Byrd quiet? He's seen too much is the answer. Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to let, if they're trying to keep this secret, right? It's like you or I, if we could fly over there, first of all, you'd be restricted to go over certain areas of that. But let's say you did, and they allowed you to see it. They're not going to let you talk about it. Not if they can help it. Cameron, you said, have a good Friday night, Chris, and good weekend, and a good one. All right, Cameron, you do the same. I'm glad you were here, man. I'm glad you stopped in. Max K, you said, I hate when I try to show my family stuff and they show no interest. It makes me livid. Yeah, it's frustrating, right? Because you're like, hey, listen, look what's here. And they just kind of like blow it off like, oh, what's the big deal? I don't think they understand the actual importance of the ramifications of that, because it's like, do you understand you're bigger than, much bigger than you think you are? In other words, you're part of something much larger. Do you not understand that? And some of them just go, I don't know. Again, it's got to be something that's you want to learn and you want to see and educate yourself and stuff like that. Yep, you're right about that, Julia. He said the no-fly zones are mainly over the dry valleys. Pretty much. Matt Corbet, he said it's back. Man, I missed Hangout. Oh, yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? It's good to hang out with all you fine folks. There you go, Pat. I want to go to Antarctica. Let's all go right now. All right, pack your stuff. Let's go, guys. Kyle says, I'm in. Well, I think, was it? Yeah, I think, Guile, you asked, why would they have no flying zones over certain areas? And you said if there is restricted no fly zones over Antarctica, that alone tells you that there's a base there. Well, it's between the military, and of course they don't want you to see that. And because it's so remote compared to any other place in the world, yeah, they'd rather just be quiet about it. And again, I understand if the military is there for simple reasons, like, okay, we got to keep the treaty, we got to make sure nobody comes in and just tries to build here for no reason. But yet they're doing it. So, it makes you wonder, you go, okay, but if you're there on a permanent basis, what for? You only need a small outpost, but yet, there's more than that in Antarctica. It's as simple as that. I've seen many videos where they have more than one base there under the ice or under the dirt, and they're there indefinitely. George Mayer, he said, good night, Chris, and all have a great weekend. All right, George, you do the same. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Will Strong, Navistar, I'm sorry. Three Dog Night, Land of Shambhala. Might have been hinting at something. Well, I mean, if you look at, I think they're the monks, and they always talked about Shambhala, where it's basically a spiritual enlightenment, where you could literally, they felt that their souls will literally come out of their body and go into this realm, which they call Shambhala. And so that was their, meditation, and they would actually go there and they'd get advice and all kinds of stuff. So it was just kind of crazy how there was more than one story I heard about that, and there's a documentary on that, and I thought that was really interesting. Ricardo Petrazzi, thanks again for your support, brother. I appreciate it. You said, unfortunately, with the topics we are covering, we can't impress the importance of implications of this in sound bites. A primer is required. True. Patrick Owen, you said, I don't believe in the climate change malarkey. Well, I do, but it's not to blame humans, period, right? Like I said, every 11 years cycle, the sun becomes more active, right? Every planet in the solar system heats up. That's a fact. So as the 11th year cycle builds and builds and builds, it becomes more active. Now, that's not to say that you don't have certain solar activities like just ramping up periodically. You see like plasma shooting off of this, the sun and, flares and everything else. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but it becomes more and more active every 11 years. So every planet in our solar system heats up. However, what they're saying is that because you have carbon in the air, and of course it spreads in the upper atmosphere, and it comes down on the ground at some point, that it's almost like a soot, right? But the carbon is dark, and it just lands on the ice. It could be anywhere in the world. Lands on the ice, and of course, dark, colors do what? They absorb more sun. So it accelerates that melting. And that's what they're talking about. We are not solely to blame for that. The Earth goes through cycles all the time. So, whether it's the last ice age, which I think was like somewhere around 26,000 years or somewhere around there, or maybe you guys have read differently, you can throw it down there. But regardless of that, every planet, again, goes through it. So it's not us to blame solely, but we do have a part to play in it. Oh, this thing jumped on me here. Hold on. John Chase said maybe it's a research station. Templar and the Earth. U.S. is the research. We're a giant petri dish. Well, again, I mean, I've heard stories where they say aliens, if they're on the moon, then they're just observing us, seeing how we, progress in technology, how we evolve, and all this other stuff. And they're just, basically they live there themselves, and they come back and forth here to Earth. This is the reason why people are seeing more and more of them. What about the ones you don't see? Maybe at night when they know the towns are sleeping. Think about it. You could, if you flew around at 3 o'clock, maybe 2 to 3 o'clock your time, anywhere in the world, in the morning, how many people are out and about or up? I mean, not a whole lot. So I'm sure they know this, and they go, hey, we'll just, fly around when we can. Sarah Music, you said at least Nevada is accessible, so it makes sense. But Antarctica? Well, you got to remember Nevada now. A lot of these are now open now as far as Area 51, Groom Lake. All of these places are now exposed. Anything like that, they don't care. But it's still top secret. You can't just go there, right? But, yeah, I get what you're saying. John Shea, somebody was just saying, I believe the moon is moving away from us. Maybe it's controlled. It's like an inch and a half. Every year, it is. Dale Joe, a friend of mine works down on the ice. He's one of the 10 that take care of it during the winter. Won't tell me a darn thing. I say, man, just a smidgen. Let me know a little something, Great for all. He said, have to go. Good night, everyone. All right, great for all. Glad you were here. Appreciate you being here. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? Arthur Krause, you said the media are pushing the climate change stuff to scare the people, but I am happy that it's making people more eco-friendly. Not everybody's doing that, but, it's, and I'm not even, a lot of people see me when I drive an electric car or my hybrid, they're like, oh, you must be one of these tree huggers. No, actually I'm not. But, I just like something that pays me back at the end of the week. You know what I mean? If I drive everywhere and it costs me only $8 a week, that's not bad. Even if I let it go down to like a half a tank, it's only like maybe $12. You know what I mean? So it's not that bad. So I like something that pays me back. It's not so much the cleaner air environment, which does help, and I like that. But I've always got a vehicle that suits my needs. That's all. And like I said, if you want it to pay you back, it's a bonus, right? Especially I see these people buying them, what are those little, the Mitsubishi Mirage, anything like that, like a subcompact. I think some of them are 4 cylinders now, but they were 3. And they'd get like 45 to 47 miles to the gallon on the highway. Nothing wrong with that. If you're going to pay for a payment on there, and you're saving on gas, and you were driving something at 23 miles to the gallon, then it's actually paying you back, and it's helping you, it's making your payments a little easier. That's the way I look at it, right? Steve Garman, rather, you said, I think it's about 5 inches a year. I heard it was about an inch and a half. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it is. Regardless of the fact, at some point in time, it's going to be bye-bye. So, but I believe, because they say everything about, it brings the tides, it controls the tides. I don't think we really need it. However, that doesn't mean we don't. If there was a time prior to the moon, then, and if it's true, of course, then clearly the Earth made it. It had no issues. How's it cross? There's nothing wrong with hugging some trees. Oh, Patrick, you got one? You said I loved my Mitsubishi Mirage. Yeah, I'm talking about the new ones now, the little subcompacts. I know the other Mirages were bigger than that. Ricardo said, hey, the UK Gov were caught red-handed, turning out fair propaganda to manipulate people's behavior around COVID restrictions. You think no government would do the same to change behavior for others? Well, yeah, absolutely. Gotta love the government. They're good, if you want to go by that. I don't trust a thing the government says. Z Humble Pie says, last winter on the west coast of Canada was the coldest ever recorded over 400 years. Well, they're saying there's supposed to be a pretty harsh winter here as well. Now, of course, they said that last year, but here's the weird thing. During the summertime, it was like 85, 90 degrees, and I started seeing the leaves turn then. I'm like, what is going on here? And we didn't even have any, cool nights at that point. So it makes you wonder, what is going on? I think it is going to be pretty harsh this winter. Now, come on, everybody loves a good heat bill, right? Yeah. All right, let me see. Matthew Luce, you said, thank you for peeling back the Antarctica onion for us, Chris. This is the first time I've ever actually seen an expert have the guts and the vision to show the world the truth about what's really down there. Well, I don't know about an expert, but like I said, Julia Gali as well as Sarah Lafreniere are the ones that actually started this. And, I was helping them out, basically, enhancing some of these. But they're the one that started bringing the truth out. So they get all the credit for this. And, like this photo here. I had gotten this photo, enhanced it. There's a lot of stuff in there. But if you go on their site, the Antarctica site, absolutely amazing. The work that's been put into getting this information. You got a lot of people there, geologists, NASA people taking photos, so on and so forth. And this is how they got their information. Of course, they did some hands-on as well. So both Sarah and Julia get the credit for this, and I'm just helping them out like I told Sarah that I would, and it's just amazing the stuff they found and what we're still finding. So, I love this because if it's that secretive, it makes you wonder, is it ours or is it somebody else's, meaning alien? And this is the reason why I put on there hundreds of alien structures found. Alien doesn't necessarily mean only like outside our Earth. There could be alien to us. So, in other words, we don't know where it's from. So, yeah, depending on how you look at it, right? Sean, you said, Chris, surely the world full of electric cars will have its own pitfalls. Is the trade-off worth it? Yeah, I'll tell you why it would be. If it's solar powered, self-maintaining. Now, as far as the batteries, people are like, I'm not a big, fan of lithium ion, and you don't have to be. If you've been watching China lately, they've been coming out with a solid-state battery, and I've been talking about this for quite a while. They still haven't perfected it where it drains too quickly. However, you literally just plug it in, and it's like seconds. It charges thing because there's nothing. It doesn't have to go through any liquid, so the batteries won't explode. They can recharge many more times than a regular lithium. They're almost instant charge within minutes. But they still haven't perfected. They've got prototypes where they haven't quite perfected the discharging amount of time. So, obviously you got to have a certain motor, a certain draw, how far can you go, how many miles, so on and so on. It's just scientific, right? So, but they're working on it. And if you can have like solar power and you plug it into a solid state battery, what's it using? There's no carbon footprint because you're not working off the power plants. And because I think, to be honest with you, it'd be, if they tried that right now, I'm seeing like a ton of Teslas around here now. And at some point, a lot of the infrastructure with these power lines and everything, not going to be able to handle it. Just no way around it. So they better start coming out with these solid state batteries which charge almost instantly, as opposed to taking longer time, because there's no way. There's so many infrastructures, even around here, they're so antiquated, it's just junk. And, you got to be very careful. Some people in other countries, or not other countries, but other states as well, they go, yeah, well, all it's going to do is be slightly windy and I lose electricity. So it's really crazy how that works. But I think if they perfect it and do the solid state and it's solar powered, you'll never have to worry about it. And the batteries, they could be solid state, are the ones that are being charged by the solar for your solar station. So literally charges it at night. You need it, boom, you just put it in there, charges it right up. So, it can be done, but can they get it out fast enough before they have issues with the infrastructure? Brian Norton, what's going on? You said something important there for all of these big shots to go and visit, not just snow and boring ice. That's true. I'll have to do that, Ricardo. He said, Chris, pull up the Google Earth view from altitude of the Greek island with ruins on it. Compare it to the Antarctica image. See the similarity. I have to do that. I'll have to do that. Phil Cox with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown. I didn't even see you get in there, Phil. Good to see you in there, man. This must have jumped on me because I would have noticed you were in there. Canadian Crippler, you said, Chris, is your new Antarctica channel up? Tried searching for and couldn't find it. Yeah, if you look up Antarctica and it's... you got me thinking now. Actually, I got it right here. And you see right here, if I click on it, I don't know why this thing's trying to talk to me here. Let's see. And it's Hidden Secrets. You can see it right here. There's no videos on it yet because, like I said, probably over this weekend, if I get the time, I'm going to start transferring, the videos here on YouTube over to that one there. And I'm glad a lot of you folks have already jumped on this. You can see right here, Antarctica and its Hidden Secrets. You can look that up in the search bar and make sure you can use the filter at the top because it'll say channels. You don't want to go through a bunch of crap. Just look, it says channels. If you hit the little tiny, I think it's like little lines, you hit that and it's a filter. And it'll say channels. You want to hit channels and you'll find it a whole lot easier. Patrick Owen, you said, yeah, solar powered and wind turbine and kinetic energy powered cars. Well, I mean, again, if they can just do something with the battery issue, I think a lot of people have problems with the issue with that. And I don't blame them. Because again, you're taking this lithium out of the ground. People are like, where's it going? Are we wasting these batteries? A lot of companies are just rebuilding them. They're using all of this stuff and they're reusing it. So it's not an issue. If they come up with a solid state battery and can perfect it, that'll be the new wave. You won't have to worry about that anymore. Solid state is just, that's it. It's a solid state. It's like a chip, and you're just putting a charge to it. Of course, it's a lot more technical than that, but it's so much easier to do it that way. So if they can do that, again, even if you had a house current and you plugged it in, it would take you literally minutes. Now, I'm not talking about 40 minutes. I'm talking about within 5-10 minutes, it's charged. It's ready to go. So it's not like you'd be a big strain on these power companies. But if you can do it with solar power, it's even easier. Again, have a solid-state battery in that solar power unit. It charges it up. You need it, boom, done. So there's no carbon footprint at all, other than just building the car, you know. Like my neighbor, he's like, at first he was totally against these cars. Oh, but this and that, and you know, people say there's no carbon footprint. You know, they got to plug into the grid. I said, you're absolutely right. You know, there is a footprint because you are charging from there. I said, but keep in mind, my car is like a gnat on a buffalo's rear end. It wouldn't know the difference. But however, if you get a bunch of these cars on it, makes a big difference. Because when I plug in, if I put on high, it's like 1,440 watts that it consumes. Now, depending on how low you run this thing, you're running it for 8, 10, 20 hours, whatever it may take. So, yeah. So, but if you were to change all that, and it took minutes to charge as opposed to hours, and again, running off solar power, you wouldn't have that issue. But his complaint was like, oh, yeah, you know, how much money is being wasted? I said, okay, here's the thing. You drive a Ford F-350, Cummins diesel, I think it's a 6.3. I said, do you understand the amount of metal in that vehicle is probably 4 times the amount in my electric car? No, hands down. How much resources are being used to build that truck? And he kind of like, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, you may want to go back and research that. Kyle Harvey, you said you do not want to charge batteries fast. It's not good for the life of the battery. If it's solid state, it won't hurt it. Mine, I never do the Chatamo, what they call a Chatamo charge, which I can charge my car in, I think it was a half hour. So I never used one of those. I only used the house charger. It's like 110. And, you know, it's like 8 or 12 amps. So it's not like I'm like force feeding this thing. Where a lot of people do that. And I'm going, man, that's just going to kill the battery prematurely, man. It's bad enough it's already, depending on how many times you charge it to begin with, is going to limit the life of the battery to begin with, right? But just to give you an idea, I bought my car in the end of 2015, and I think I still got just under 20,000 miles, and it's what, 2021. So goes to show you how much I drive it. It's local, no problems, and I'm not using, you know, what do you call it? I'm not using it that much, and I'm not using that much electricity, right? Pelagic 6, Dodge has Cummins 6.7. Yes, but they also have newer ones. The 6.7s are common, don't get me wrong. But it seemed to me he said it was a 6.3. I could be wrong, but I'm used to the 6.7s. I agree with you. Tim Houston, you said, Chris, where's the Antarctica? Chris, where in Antarctica was that photo taken? It's been a while. I've been to the website, but it's been a while ago. I think this one has a Deuce Bay, and like it's pretty large, that area, right? This is what somebody was saying. They were saying, oh yeah, you know, you can go there and visit there. Yeah, certain parts, yes, but a lot of it is off limits. But you can look that up. William John, you said, gotta go, got a chore, I have to go. Bye, all. Thanks, good times, Chris. All right, William, thanks for being here, appreciate you. Yep, Mags K was saying it too, Deuce Bay. Tony Gibbs Grill is hot and people are starting to show up. Got to run, my turn to host. Means buy the beer and grill. Ooh, man, should be BYOB. All right, Tony, thanks for being here, appreciate you, man. And have a good night there, right? Ozone says, rolling the coal all day. Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but I was always the person that, that I just buy something that's I feel is worth driving and that will pay me back. And diesels are good. I like diesel. I had a diesel Rabbit back in the day, the Volkswagen. And, man, that thing was getting 50-plus miles to the gallon, and great little car. I don't have a thing about, I have no argument towards diesels and stuff like that. In fact, I think they're awesome. Powerhouses, and, they're not peppy, unless, of course, you tune them, but they're not, like, peppy off the line, but get them rolling and pull a house down. 786 Auto, he said, Chris, think charging 220 is cheaper. yes and no. It should be because you're running a 220 as opposed to 110. But again, my car is one of the original ones that come out. It's a little Mitsubishi, and it's very small battery, so it's not really super expensive anyway. It probably cost me $3 to $4 to fill it up or charge it up. So it's still cheaper than anything I would use in gas. And I had a Ford Escape a while back. It was only the 4-cylinder, but 2.3. But it was crazy. It was like you can make it 24, 25 miles to the gallon out of it. But if you run a perfect day, like an 80-degree day, 75, 80 degrees, flat ground, I could get 30, maybe 31 miles to the gallon out of it. It's crazy. You should be getting better than that. It's not a big SUV, but yet, Mimi React says, I'm taking off here. It was great to talk to you all again. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. All right, Mimi, thanks for being here. And I appreciate you being here, and stay safe as well. Oh, instead of jump on me here, hold on. Let's see. Tim Houston, you said he's talking about the period Reese map. Maybe Antarctica was ice-free at the end of the last ice age. Well, there was a time where it was, because you can see how he had all of it laid out, the different ports and everything else, and it was completely ice-free. So it was definitely before the last ice age, no doubt. Bob Wire, you said, still wondering about the story of John Kerry traveling to Antarctica. For what reason? I don't remember hearing that he did. Of course, that doesn't mean he didn't. I just don't remember or hearing about that. Ricardo said, speaking of being environmentally conscious, why can't COP26 be done via Zoom? They're disrupting Glasgow for almost a month. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. Wish I knew the answer to that. Kyle, you said electric vehicles give you the instant torque, and the batteries are recyclable and safer for the environment and the way for the future. Yeah, I mean, just about every car maker is doing nothing but. Volvo's doing it. A lot of people are going all electric. It's funny because I don't know if you guys watch these, but you can watch like the Tesla Racing channel, and there's other Tesla channels out there. And people, when they're driving, they call them ICE, internal combustion engines. People are dogging the electric car. When you see they're racing these demons, these Hellcats, and they're dusting them. And of course, on the quarter or the eighth, depending on what track they decide to run on. And it's funny on the quarter, they're like, oh, if that track was longer, that Hellcat would have beat him. True. Absolutely true. Until the Tesla Plaid came out. They still hold speed all the way up to 150, 200, well, almost 180 miles an hour. I think it's 160, somewhere in there. But they're going to change that with software. But now it just pulls all the way up there. The other previous ones would go to like 120 and just start dropping off. But now they're going to come out, Dodge is now going to come out with an all-wheel drive Hellcat. That'll be interesting. But, people knock these cars, oh, electric this, and I prefer the horsepower and the rumble of horsepower. I do too. I love it. I love both. What people don't get is how many times can that guy in that Demon or Hellcat race before something breaks? Think about it. Snap a drive shaft, blow the rear end, blow something out of the bottom end of the crankcase. You don't know. Blow the supercharger right off the engine. There's so many variables that go wrong where electric car, you can race it all day long. Now, at some point, you're going to kill the battery prematurely because you're doing constantly recharges. So there's not a benefit to doing it on there either, but a lot less chances, a lot less moving parts. So people can dog that all day long, but when you stop and really think about it, it's like, I can do it all day long with my electric car and not break anything. At some point, though, you'll pay the price as far as the battery. Now, if they start coming out more and more of these batteries where they become solid state and you can replace your lithium battery with a solid state and they perfected it, golden. Absolutely. Z Humble Pie, you said everyone, the original Tesla battery car went over 200 miles an hour when they were releasing it. I think you're talking about the original Roadster, and I'm not so sure it did 200 miles an hour. It might have, but now they got the other Roadster coming out, whereas it can, I think it's like 1.6, 1.7, I think even somebody said 1.9, 0 to 60, which is impressive as hell. But where does it end? It's like, well, I got to get to the grocery store. Let's romp on this. I mean, to me, I think it's cool because you can have a family sedan and still want to put your foot into it. But to me, it's overkill, right? But it's nice to have that when you need it. Getting on the highway, you're there like you're there. Steve Garnham. He said solar panels on aircraft. Yes. There have been companies that already made solar planes. And trying to remember, they're talking about other larger craft like 727s where they would be able to charge or at least charge it on the ground and be able to take short trips between terminals, states and everything else. But they have a small aircraft that's like an ultralight that has solar panels on it as well, and you can actually charge it up and then fly. So it's pretty cool. It's going to become, listen, when this technology gets more and more just awesome, think about it. If you can use a solid state battery, that's pretty good, I blended it. If you can do that, picture how little it would take to charge them batteries as you're flying. That'd be crazy. So you can have like one bank actually charging while the other bank is actually being used. And when it knows that bank is getting lower and this one's already charged, it automatically switches over. Kind of like a dual tank truck. Remember? Back in the day, you just switch it over and you're ready to rock. So, yeah. Pretty much. Tim Houston said, I remember when on Sarah's website there was a photo with what looked like a huge regular shaped tower in the distance on the horizon. Yes, there's more than that. There's one of the videos I had done a while back. It almost looked like a giant Ferris wheel. It was a round wheel, what looked like machinery. And like, what could this have been? People say it was mining. Some people who says it was an alien, civilization living there. And like some of you have said, they probably came from Mars and wanted to be on a remote part of Earth. Again, it's all pure speculation. I'm not so sure about all that. But, but still the stuff that's there is incredible and totally industrialized. And if you look at her site where it shows that they had done soil samples, and there's a lot of metals in there which point to industrialization. So, what was going on there? Were they mining? Were they just simply building? And some of these structures had gone into the ground, maybe rotted away, and this is what they're finding? Who knows, right? But yeah, there's a lot of good information on that site, so I advise everybody to jump on that. And if you're not sure where it is, just go back to my other video. You can go back here. It's just a lot easier. Where you can go back and you can see it here. Let me do this. And you get the link right here, just so you'll know where it's at. Right there, you can see the new, the Centering of Antarctica page link. And of course it shows right here. You can click on it. And there you go. So, so she calls it the thesis volume 2 because they already had a thesis that I had done. It was probably a little over 3 years? 3 years. I'll be all right. It was a little over 3 hours long. And I had done basically, I called it the scrolling book kind of thing where it had the whole thesis in it. So you can actually sit back and it had like classical music on it. You can just, read up on it, and a lot of interesting stuff here. And there's just so much in here. And you can see the different topics she has. Unauthorized photography. There's so much in here to see. And this is where, let me see here. Got everything from the moon that Sarah started studying, as well as Julia. she's talking about different what look like crane type things on there. Really, really interesting stuff. And you can see how this is what I examined way in the back here on one of my videos. And they're being dressed up to look like mountains, and they're not. And it's just like the same thing they're doing to Mars. Same darn thing. So there's so much to see. I mean, a lot of information here. If you guys want to check this out, jump on that site. Again, you can go to my last video there with Antarctica, and you can just look right here, my pinned post, and it's right there. And, of course, the new channel link is there as well if you want to subscribe to that. Because, like I said, we're going to be moving those over there, and then we're going to be putting all of the videos pretty much onto the Antarctica one. So you can check it out. Pete Ferrari said, why do Mars rovers seem to have unlimited power and we don't do it here? Well, keep in mind, like the Curiosity rover and the Perseverance rover now, they're nuclear powered. So they will outlast the rover probably 10, 100-fold until it finally decays and it just rots away. As far as the actual nuclear power, it'll pretty much die off, and that'll be the end of that. But if we all had cars that would do that, that'd be sweet. Think about it. But you get in an accident. Well, this is what do you call it? I love that. They'll say, well, there's a nuclear explosion. That'll kill half the population in this city. So they can't do that, right? Kyle, yeah, you got a point there. You said batteries weigh almost the same as combustible motor. Yes and no. I mean, again, it depends on the size of the pack, which mine is a lot smaller compared to the Tesla. And there's, again, it depends on the size of the pack, right? So, and if you're talking about like a 4-cylinder motor, yeah, you're probably right as far as that aspect goes. But the car itself is light. Like my car weighs 2,560 pounds, where the average car weighs more than that. Even a subcompact would weigh roughly around there, maybe more. So it's genius how they did it. They put less weight in the car to compensate for the heavy battery. So therefore, it's about the same weight as any subcompact car. So it works just as well. Take the battery out and it weighs 50 pounds. No. Let me see. You're saying, Kyle, you was talking about James Reagan. Chris, a question for you. Why did John Kerry and the leader of the Orthodox Church and Buzz Aldrin and leaders of different countries visit the Antarctic region recently, as well as hush-hush? It was all a hush-hush job. You're right. And, people were saying, remember when, Buzz Aldrin, when he came back, he had some issues with his heart. And they say, no, it had nothing to do with him being there. Well, it's kind of coincidental how he was there and had this issue. Now, is it possible because there was a lot of walking involved? Maybe the air was a little thinner. Whatever the case may be, he had some kind of issue. Now, first thing people thought of was, that's BS. He's seen something that probably freaked him out. And he was probably, or just overwhelmed. Doesn't have to be freaked out, just overwhelmed. And he got overwhelmed by it, and he just had some issue. But yeah, why go there? I'm sure they were all just whale watching, right? Yeah. So I don't know about all that, but it does make you wonder, right? Thanks, Kate. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, thanks, Chris. Good to have you back. Oh, it's good to be here with everybody, man. This is awesome. And, like I said, your support is overwhelming. And I can't thank you guys enough. So, like when I was out and everybody's like, I hope you're well. For now on, I'm going to use the community page. If there's an issue, you guys can just read it and you can see what's going on. If there's some kind of delay, I can't make a Hangout or whatever, you'll be able to tell if you go on the community page on the home page, you'll be able to see this from now on. And so I decided to start using that. It's just better. And because especially if you can't make the video, you can just do a quick type and you're pretty much done. So, but I do appreciate everybody, asking how I was doing, to get well kind of thing. And like I said, got a great community. It's just awesome. And again, thank you very much for everyone for their support, verbal or otherwise, right? Templar. We'll just call you Templar. So, what about safety if the car frame is lighter? It depends. You know, if you got the impact zones, it's kind of like the people dogged about that. What is it? The little smart car. They're like, oh my God, you ever get in an accident with that thing, you're a dead man. That's not true. There's a roll cage in it. It's built with a roll cage. Now, could you get sandwiched between two 18-wheelers and live? Probably not. You're probably going to meet your maker. However, if you were to get in a standard accident, maybe the inertia would kill you because your intestines and your organs couldn't handle that kind of impact. However, the car would probably still stay intact. Just look up, tests they've done. They've taken and ran into one of these concrete barriers, and they can still open up the passenger side door and everything. Now, they did hit it on an angle as opposed to straight on, and they hit it, I think, 50, 60 miles an hour. So, and if they did it remote control, of course. But people laugh when they see that, but doesn't mean they don't have crumple zones that are really, really solid. That's what people need to keep in mind. Tim Hughes said Atlantis is Antarctica. I don't think that it is. And like I said, I got a video coming up that may actually be, the old Atlantis. But again, I'm going by this one particular photo. When you look at this one particular photo, there's many others. This thing looks so different in all kinds of different ways. You don't know if it's the real thing or not. Well, I should say the real photo. So I've got the one that was the most clearest and the most natural looking. But when you see this thing, you're just going to go, oh, yeah, something else was here. It's not just a natural formation. So, yeah. Phil Cox, he said Buzz probably saw the same thing as he did when he was in space. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you've seen anything, let's say it's totally two different things. In other words, you see something in Antarctica, you go, wow, it's just mind-blowing, and he had a reaction to that. Or, of course, he was a lot younger when he was in the Apollo mission, Apollo 11. He goes there, and he's at total awe. I mean, you got to, just picture yourself being in his shoes. That's got to be amazing. So if you're older and you see this kind of thing, you're kind of like, oh, that could have been the reaction he had and had some kind of heart problem. And it depends on what you're seeing, But yeah, you're probably right. Noodles, you said, good to see you, Chris. Take your vitamins. Oh, yeah. Already all over that. Mark Lewis, you said, what is the Antarctica channel link? Well, like I said, I got it right here in my last video of Antarctica. You can go down and you can see the links here. The centering of Antarctica page. Click on it. Ready to rock. It'll take you right there. And I got the new Antarctica YouTube channel. You can click on that as well. You can sub to that. And if that's what you guys want to see, definitely jump on board with that one too, right? Yeah. Noodles, you said, Buzz needs truth too. Holding it back is evil, like he said. Yeah, because remember he said that it's like, this area is like evil. Remember he said that? It's like, why would it be evil? I'm confused. There's ice there and maybe some whales. Are we all missing something here? Oh, Kyle, do you mean Flex Seal? Cartoon Mark says, great stream, thanks. Well, thanks for being here. Yeah, I miss being back here too, Kyle. It's just awesome, Be able to have a good conversation with everybody. We are going to jump off this thing, though. Yeah, it's not bad. 2.5 hours, right? Pretty sweet. So I'm going to jump off here. Glad to be back with everybody else here. It's just awesome. I got good videos coming out real soon. Like I said, I got that other part here on Earth. You'll be able to check that out. And like I said, jump onto this old video. Well, when I say older, this last video I did of Antarctica, the links are in the pinned post at the top. You can, again, sub to the Antarctica channel, as well as jump on right here again, just so you can see what the name of it is. Not that it matters, because you can see at the center of Antarctica page. You can click on that, take you right there, and check out all there is to see there and read. It's just really interesting. It's really good. They really, really put this together well, and a lot of information you definitely want to check out. But like I said, I want to let you guys rock and roll. I'm going to jump on off this thing. I'm actually getting hungry. I ate before I got on here, and I'm like, man, I'm still starving. Probably because I only had half a sandwich, but regardless, right? But anyway, folks, thank you very much for all your support. It's been awesome. You guys are great. We'll definitely try to do this every week as we were doing it, and got some good videos coming out. Like I said, if you're not getting, just make sure that when you're subscribed, make sure you get that. It says all when you tick the bell. It says all notifications. Make sure you tick that. And if not, just keep checking back every day. It only takes, what, a second to go on there? Has he got anything new? Nope. Well, he does. Okay, cool. So this way here, you don't have to worry about YouTube throwing you off, basically, or just not notifying you. So that's the way I do it. Because I know a couple of channels I've been subbed to, and I go on there, and I go, well, heck, he's got a new video. How come I wasn't notified? Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, the algorithms on YouTube are awesome. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. All your support. You're awesome. Couldn't get a better bunch of people. Like I said, and I mean that from the heart. You guys are just awesome. So everybody have themselves a good evening or morning, depending on where you're at. And have a good weekend. You guys be safe. And what time is it now? 36. We'll leave it until it's 7:45 my time. So it's almost, it's like 9 minutes. We'll let you guys chit-chat a little bit more. And we'll see you guys in the next video there, right? Everyone stay safe. Peace.